Despite being objectively awful people, newly engaged couple Ross Bird and Jessica Black want their upcoming wedding to really reflect their personalities.
We're pulling out all the stops to have a kind of wedding that just screams us.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a bluegrass band playing 80s pop songs. Because Ross loves bluegrass, but I love 80s music.
And then at the end of the ceremony, this is great, we're going to pass out sparklers to all the guests.
Sources claim that a bunch of candles in mason jars and an Instagram photo booth will truly capture the essence of the insufferable pair.
We didn't want some big, stuffy ceremony.
Yeah,
It should feel more like a fun dance party for our friends.
Because the night's about us, yes, but I mean, it's also, about the people who make us us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And those people love us exactly for our uniqueness.
Sources hoped with every fiber of their being that these two would be divorced within a year.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk live Sunday edition of the show, where you can join us on the radio to bring up anything that you want to discuss. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype on into the show here at Skype username LRN.FM. Coming up, another Church of Cannabis. You may remember the Church of Cannabis from, or maybe it was the Church of Marijuana, I forget the exact name of it, but the one in Indianapolis, which kind of fell flat. But this is a new one in Colorado. We'll tell you more about that coming up here. With you in the studio, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
Of course, you can bring up anything you want, so let's start out with your calls and thoughts. We've got AC, I think he's in Ohio, calling us on Skype. Go ahead, AC.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this response, but I feel like I kind of need to because it's kind of been on my mind for a while, and it's another response to your caller Dana from Grand Rapids, and I gotta say she's really peed me off.
Okay, what did she do?
Well, her call yesterday was to complain about hung like Jesus. Basically the fact that basically just because of his name, basically, and calling it blasphemous and saying it's offensive to my religion. While a week ago, you weren't on the show, Ian, it was Mark and Daryl. You guys were telling the story about the guy at McDonald's who got fired for putting bacon on a Muslim family's chicken sandwiches.
I heard about this story.
Yep.
Okay.
Will Coley called in.
Yeah, Will Coley called in to respond to it and said he should be fired, and I agree with him. And of course, Dana called in, and she was really upset.
My point was that working at McDonald's is punishment enough. Go ahead. I agree with that one. You got me on that one. You won't get no argument from me, Mark. But she called in, and she was very angry about it, about him saying he should be fired, saying it was just a joke. And I'm like, well, that joke was offensive to them. Why is it like the thing about that woman is that it's okay to say things to offend Muslims, but when you say things to offend Christians like her, you can't do that. And that's what I find very upsetting about that woman.
Wow, well said. I think that's an excellent job. You did an excellent job pointing out the hypocrisy there.
Well, I can see how the two might be considered in a different light, because hung like Jesus is a part of our reproductive and naughty areas, and
Jesus was hung on a cross, so one could be hung like Jesus.
Correct. Either way, though, it can be interpreted as offensive. I mean, whether you're talking about hanging from the cross or you're talking about penis size, then it's a potentially offensive statement to a Christian either way. While, putting actual bacon on a, whatever it was that was ordered, putting the bacon...
Chicken sandwiches.
Sorry, missed that. Chicken sandwich is like one of the most offensive things you can possibly do. So both of those things are very offensive to people in different religions.
Yeah, but I, as an American, can't relate to how bacon could be so offensive, so blasphemous. I grew up in a Christian tradition, so I wouldn't care about that. But being well hung is universal. It's a universal concept that everybody can be offended by.
I get what you're saying, that the average American may not have probably has not even a fraction of the reverence for the idea of don't put bacon on things for a Muslim. But this guy in the McDonald's obviously knew, since he said it was a prank, he knew it was offensive, right? Like he knew that this was something he shouldn't be doing. So it wasn't as though he could claim innocence like, oh, I just, felt like putting bacon on there. He did it on purpose because it's an offensive thing to do. So as far as the level of offense is concerned, whether or not the average American is aware of it, it's an offensive thing to do that.
Yeah, and the thing about this isn't the first time that Dana's done this. Like a couple weeks ago, or I think like a month ago, she called in offended, claiming you guys were saying blasphemous things because one of you guys made a joke about God having sex with the Virgin Mary or something like that. So it's just, I find it whenever she does that, it really makes me upset.
I said that God impregnated Mary.
That's true.
And she was a virgin.
You believe it.
That's the story as I'm told.
Right.
And Mary was below the age of consent, so God impregnated a woman who was below,
there was probably no age of consent at that time. But
right, but by our standards, by these standards, because it was all being juxtaposed with Muhammad and his relationships with one wife,
with a young wife,
that people will keep on bumping the age down on until this woman is embryonic.
Even though scholars disagree on how old she actually was.
Right.
She could have been in her mid to late teens.
Yeah, it's hard to know.
Great point tonight, AC. Anything else you want to share?
No, but if she does call, she said last night, because I actually just got done listening to last night's show. If she does call back in like she said she was going to, you might want to bring that up to her, let her know how much of a hypocrite she is.
Well, maybe she's listening. Thank you for the call tonight, AC. I appreciate hearing from you. And I imagine we're going to hear some more of this as Will Coley, I think he mentioned on our show maybe about a week ago that he's planning on moving here to Keene, New Hampshire, which I'm super excited about. It's always nice when a new renowned libertarian activist comes here to New Hampshire.
He was a vice presidential candidate. Well, how would you call it? Nominee, potential nominee?
Potential nominee. He threw his hat in and did not make it, unfortunately. He was sort of teamed up with our own Darrell W. Perry, who was running for the presidential nomination of the Libertarian Party, and neither of them, unfortunately, were given that nomination.
First Muslim American to run for vice president ever?
I forget what the exact claim was, but it was something like that. Yeah, it was a historic candidacy. So anyway, he's going to move up here, and of course he's one of the folks from Muslims, the #4liberty.org. He calls in from time to time. He actually hosts a show on LRN.FM, which is our little internet network, on Sunday nights. It actually follows up Free Talk Live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And so he's been doing a fundraiser for that move of trying to raise thousands of dollars to basically put up a mosque here in Keene, New Hampshire, which as of right now, although apparently there's going to be one opening in Concord as well, just happened to be
coincidentally
that way. Right now there's no full-time mosque available in all of New Hampshire, so either the Keene one that he opens or the one in Concord is going to be the first one. So that's very, very exciting. And so he is raising money for that. I don't know the exact launch good URL, but I'm sure we're going to talk to him about that again. Muslims, the #4liberty.org. Perhaps there's a link there. I haven't been there, so I couldn't tell you that for sure. But we're going to tell you more about that. I'm actually going to write an article about it over at freekeene.com, which will link to it. So that might be up tonight or tomorrow sometime, depending on when I get it done. And so, I was talking with him today about that. And I said, well, once I put that article up, the haters are going to know. Like, they're going to know where this is. We can try to obscure the address, for the average internet user or whatever, but the haters are going to know right where this location is as soon as they see a picture of it. And or they can probably figure it out. And he said he wasn't too concerned about that. But then again, there probably will be new haters created as a result of Muslims coming into the community, because there's just so much misinformation. There's so much anger. There's so much hatred towards Muslims in America. And I'm not saying, I don't know how much of that exists in Keene, New Hampshire, but we're probably going to find out.
Well, I can't imagine that there's a community in which some level of prejudice doesn't exist for just about everything, right?
Yeah, sure. Especially out in the middle of the woods, which is where we are here in Little Keene, New Hampshire, in the southwest corner of the state. So that's coming, and I think it's going to be really interesting. We're the Shire Free Church, which runs this show, is teaming up with Will so he can launch this mosque, and I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be a learning experience for a lot of people. I think it's going to do good things, build some bridges, and hopefully bring some new, maybe some Muslim libertarians up here to the Keene, New Hampshire area, which I think would be fantastic.
All those Muslim libertarians.
There's probably not that many of them, but the ones that we know are pretty great. I mean, Will Coley and Dobby Barker are the two of the primary guys over there. So we'll have more up about that over at freekeen.com. We'll share it out when that's available. So if you want to join us here, the toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. So, since we're talking about religion, how about the Cannabis Church? So, remember, 2-3 years ago, maybe, Indianapolis, there were these guys that put together some kind of either Church of Cannabis or Church of Marijuana or Marijuana Church. I forget the exact titling of it. But the idea was that they were going to smoke cannabis, and they were going to do it in their church, and it was going to be freedom of religion, but they backed down.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. The cops were all over the place, and these guys obviously were not willing to get arrested for to put their beliefs to the test. But there's now another Church of Cannabis, and we'll tell you about that coming up at 855-450-FREE if you want to join us.
Warning, if you've recently declared bankruptcy, you're going to want to cover your ears. Because there's an alternative to bankruptcy, and it could be better than you'd ever think possible. But if you've already declared bankruptcy and have missed this opportunity, you'll want to cover your ears now. Here it is. Right now, the company that has resolved more credit card debt than anyone in the U.S. may be able to settle your debt too. You could resolve your debt with one low monthly program payment. If you call right now and qualify, Freedom Debt Relief will show you how low your monthly program payment could be for free. Call now, 1-800-660-1581. That's 1-800-660-1581. If you're struggling with debt, this could be your answer. And the bigger your debt, the more money you could save. To find out for free how much of your hard-earned money Freedom Debt Relief could help you save, call now. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581. 1-800-660-1581.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
There is no such thing as attention span, according to Jerry Seinfeld, who figures that people have an infinite attention span if you are entertaining them. Hey, he's kept us from channel surfing for several decades, and now he's making more millions as a Las Vegas headliner. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're looking for work. So choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Avoid redundancies such as added bonus, advance warning, end result, prior history, or personal belongings. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here. Bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and the Skype username here is lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
So whether you want to talk about the Church of Cannabis or whatever's on your mind, you are welcome to do that here. According to the story over...
When you say Church of Cannabis, it just makes me think of Bernard von Nothaus.
Yeah.
Because did he do that?
He had something, yeah.
Out in Hawaii, right?
After the Liberty Dollar, he created some kind of religion centered around marijuana and like one puff or something.
Yeah, that's right. I wonder what happened with that.
I thought it was just kind of a small little part of whatever he was doing, but sounds like it was more central to the whole theme of his church.
Yeah, I would love to know more about how that's going for him. It's been a while since we've talked to him, but yeah, great guy. Anyway, the story here from The Guardian, and let's see, Aaron Millar writing that it started naturally with a group of friends smoking a joint. Steve Burke, a graduate of Yale University, was temporarily living in an old church in Denver, Colorado. His estate agent parents had bought the 113-year-old building with the plan to turn it into flats. That's a British term for apartments, for those that don't know. He and Lee Malloy, as well as a few friends, had just moved from Miami to capitalize on Colorado's lucrative marijuana market. But then, in the words of Lee, he said, quote, "We just started having these stupid, fantastical conversations. What if we kept it as a church?" Unquote. So Steve convinced his parents to give him the building. And 9 months later, on, of course, April 20th, 2016, which is 420, as it's known in the United States, the unofficial pothead holiday, because it's 420 somewhere, right? The International Church of Cannabis opened its doors with its own chapel, theology, and video game arcade. From the outside, all appears normal. Red brick towers, blocky turrets, a classic city church in an otherwise leafy suburb of Denver. But there are giveaways. The 3 front doors are arched window facade have been spray painted with silver galaxies and bright, happy-faced planets. The work of legendary painter and graphic artist Kenny Scharf, who is exhibited in the Whitney and New York's Museum of Modern Art. It looks more like the backdrop for an illegal 90s rave than your typical parish church. But it's indicative of the coup that Elevation Ministries, the nonprofit company that Steve and Lee co-founded to set up the Church of Cannabis, has managed to pull off. Says that mural would probably buy your next door's house, Lee said, letting me in, but they got it for the price of an air ticket for the artist, a few days skiing, and the loan of a jacket. People love fantastical ideas. The original plan was to open it to the general public, but because Colorado's current pot law only allows smoking in private clubs, it is, for now at least, a members-only affair.
Interesting.
To date, they have more than 1,400 members on that list. They open their doors from Thursday to Sunday for smoke-free public viewing, with private cannabis services held on Friday nights. It seems to be growing.
So, generally, a church would be open to the public, but I think you could definitely call. I mean, I don't see anything here that makes it not a church, right? So they can have a private right that is handed just to church members at a particular time. Mm-hmm. Others not allowed, fitting both the private club and a church peg hole or hole for the peg or whatever it is. So I think that that's all completely fair.
Churches don't have to be public.
As evidence, generally they're open to the public.
But they don't have to be.
As evidenced by, Catholics offer communion, but they only offer it to Catholics.
Really? Meaning you can go in and observe the communion, but you can't take the body of Christ or whatever unless you're a Catholic?
That's correct.
I think you have to be Catholic or one of a small handful of particular sects of Christianity to participate. I could be wrong on that, but I think Episcopalians and Anglicans can participate. I'm not 100% sure. Don't come to me for your, the final word on whatever your theology might be. But, so, I mean, in that case, it's open to the public during that service, but only Catholics can participate, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I'm looking at some images from this Kenny Scharf.
The artist.
Yeah. It looks like a Frank Zappa cartoon.
Right on. So more to say here about the Cannabis Church, but let's go to your calls and thoughts first. Scott is in Massachusetts. And I believe this is Scott the Bigot. Scott, go ahead. You're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, Ian, Mark.
Johnny Ray's here, too.
I'd like to discuss, how are you?
Good.
I'd like to discuss Charlottesville, Virginia. I side with David Duke's Klansmen and Nazis because Black Lives Matter and anarchists, terrorists, communists, and Bill Ayers wannabes are financed by George Soros, who is an international Jewish Wall Street banker and fifth columnist.
What evidence do you have that they're financed? Just out of curiosity.
They are financed, absolutely financed.
I asked you what evidence you had. People will often level the claim that Free Talk Live is financed by the Koch brothers, and I would rebut that statement as untrue. But no one seems to give a damn. They just level the accusation. I'm asking you, do you have any evidence that these people are financed by whom you say they are?
Well, Bill Ayers was financed by George Soros to destroy Ann Coulter's speech.
All right.
And he also financed Black Lives Matter, so why wouldn't he be involved in Charlottesville?
So you're just jumping to a conclusion. You don't actually have any proof.
Well, but a very intelligent one. And
no, hold on a second here. Now, I'd like to point out that we talked about this in great detail last night. In fact, we even had Christopher Cantwell, who is one of your brethren. He's a racist. He was on the show with us to explain his side of what happened because he was in the midst of the fighting that went on down in Charlottesville, where, for listeners that may not be aware, there were some racists, some like white nationalist people like Scott.
Lots of them.
Actually, the ones that'll get out of their house. Scott kind of stays at home, and that's fine. But anyway, so it was them versus the Antifa or the anti-fascists. So both of them sort of violent hate groups.
Was there? So there was a large contingent of Antifa
That's the
in
thing.
Charlottesville?
There wasn't, according to Chris Cantwell, and according to any of the photos that you can find of what was happening. So there was this. I guess there's a statue of Robert E. Lee there in Charlottesville, Virginia, that somebody has proposed in the city to get rid of, and so the right wingers were going to go down there and protest. They got their torches, which were tiki lights, which is cute. But they brought their tiki lights, and there's some really funny memes.
I bet there weren't any mosquitoes around.
There's some funny memes about that on the social media. But anyway, so they came out, and the Antifa people were already there waiting for them. But they said there was maybe about a tenth as many Antifa as there were people from the far right, the white nationalist types. They were far outnumbered. The Antifa were far outnumbered, and Chris Cantwell says that they attacked them anyway.
Antifa attacked Unite the Right.
That's the claim. Even though they were far outnumbered, they got violent first was the claim. Now I'm sure Antifa's claiming the opposite, but we don't know any of those folks just by coincidence. So, Scott, if you want to hang on, we'll continue the discussion here about what happened there, because if indeed the Antifa was funded by George Soros, then how come they didn't have more than 20 people show up to this thing? I mean, come on. I mean, if you've got a bunch of money, you can throw at a bunch of hungry hippies to get them to show up somewhere.
Hippies aren't particularly good fighters, but the Antifa.
Well, the Antifa people like to fight.
Yeah, they come prepared.
There's more coming up here in moments. Maybe hippie's not the right word. Hippie people are supposed to love peace. It's Free Talk Live. What do you call these guys?
Antifa.
Welcome aboard. Your new science fiction adventure is ready to launch. Discover an amazing journey at GalaxyQuestBooks.com. Start a new sci-fi adventure with the Guardian series a classic sci-fi mystery that starts 500 years in the future. From author D. Arthur Gussner. Series available from Barnes & Noble or Amazon as paperback or ebooks. GalaxyQuestBooks.com, where the adventure begins.
Tyler, time to go for our family walk.
Just let me nap a little longer.
You promised we'd get more active.
I know. How come you're so ready to go?
It's Superberry's Aronia berries.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where'd you get them?
I ordered them from superberries.com/radio, and right now we can get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus, we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait to try them. I'll get the dog.
I'll get the kids.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Free Talk Live.
You're privileged to drive the road. You must follow the law.
No, I don't have to.
You're going to double park and you're going to make a left-hand turn in front of a cop?
Can I respond to you here, Barbara?
Go right ahead.
I'm not going to run a red light in front of a cop because he has a gun and is willing to hurt me, but I've run plenty of...
Wrong. He's not going to hurt you. He's going to give you a ticket.
Oh, but if I decide not to pull over, what will he do?
Well, you're not obeying the law.
Barbara, I don't obey arbitrary words written down by strangers. I obey natural law, Barbara. That means if I do something, I expect consequences will come from that, sometimes good, sometimes bad.
You want a red light, somebody comes around and you kill him.
I would never run a red light like that. When I run a red light, I stop first, look around, make sure no one is in danger, and then I go through.
Oh, you are such a phony.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. It is the live Sunday edition of the show. Of course, you can dial in toll-free to join us here on the radio. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. With you tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
All right, let's go back to your calls and thoughts, but I do want to let you know about Freedom's Phoenix. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. It's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. LRN.FM.com. As we continue here, we've got Scott the Bigot on the line in Massachusetts. You wanted to talk about how you are in favor of the Nazis, which of course isn't a surprise.
Yes, I am. And the Klansmen, they need to be united because there is definitely a conspiracy by the blacks and the Jews to cut down the white race, to eliminate
So now the
Confederate
Jews
flag.
and the blacks are conspiring together?
The Jews use the blacks as a tool.
They use all the
For
mud
example, the
races.
civil rights movement in the 1960s were financed by Jews.
What?
Martin Luther King could have never gotten it off the ground for the simple reason that the blacks don't have the intelligence, the wherewithal to do it themselves.
So what about the Mexicans and the Asians? Are they just sitting on the sidelines during this?
No, Asians are intelligent. Mexicans
Does that
like
mean
blacks.
intelligence? Are you saying the Jews aren't intelligent?
The Jews are very intelligent, but
Okay.
they have no morality. They have they have no
Do
scruples.
the Asians have
They're
morality?
ruthless and devious.
Do the
But,
Asians have morality?
anyway,
Do the Asians
They have no morality.
The
Jews
Asians
have no morality.
No. Listen to me, Scott.
Yeah.
The Asians. Where do they fall in on this? You've said that they're intelligent, but that doesn't mean that they're on your side because you said the Jews are intelligent too. So I'm just trying to figure out in your world who's for you and who's against you and how easy it is for you to figure it out.
The Asians are against us. Anyone who's not of the white race, Christian race, blacks are, of course, are against us. Hispanics are against us. And, of course, the Jews are orchestrating it all. They're behind the scenes. They're controlling everything.
The paranoia is so incredible.
No, it's not paranoia
Yes, it
at all.
is.
Well, wait, Scott.
It's what's going on. Look what they're trying to do in the South. Eliminate the Confederate flag, take down statues of Robert E. Lee. That's part of their Southern heritage. That's sacred to them. And also affirmative action laws, reverse discrimination laws, taking our guns away, destroying Christianity. There is definitely a vast Jewish communist conspiracy that the Jews are behind. And,
Okay, all right. Hold that thought there, Scott.
Hold on.
We know what you think.
Okay, so white people smart, Asians smart, Jews smart. Asians against whites, Jews against whites. That's what I'm hearing from you. Why would the Ashkenazi Jews, which I presume are the ones that you're pointing out because those are the ones that everybody always cares about, who look the most like whites, want to turn the Asians against people that would be mistaken for Ashkenazi Jews? Why would they want to do that?
You're twisting it around. I don't care if they're Ashkenazi or whatever. Any Jewish blood, they're trying to destroy America, destroy white Christianity, and make America a communist hellhole.
Okay.
That's what they're trying to do.
So a Jew, like I am, you know, I qualify. I don't.
What percentage Jew are you?
Very small.
Okay.
But enough to be, you know, it's on my maternal lineage, so it counts.
All right.
By a Jew's standards. I wouldn't call myself that, but whatever. I fit by their definition. I wouldn't want to see whites, everybody turned against whites because Ashkenazi Jews look like whites, and that would be turning everybody against me. Does that make sense, Scott? I mean, this would be, this is the dumbest plan ever, is what I'm saying.
Well, I'll tell you what isn't a dumb plan. When white people have been disenfranchised in this country, and when I mean white people, I'm not referring to Jews. They're not white people. I'm talking
I understand,
white Christian
but
people.
you do understand.
How do you tell?
That when you look at when you talk to blacks, when you talk to Asians, when you talk to Mexicans, you put an Ashkenazi Jew next to a white person, they're not going to be able to tell the difference.
Let's
right?
go to David. We actually have a caller here with a question for you, Scott. So I want to bring David on the line here. He's calling from Keene, New Hampshire. David, you're on with Scott the Bigot.
Hello.
David? David in New Hampshire, going once. David in New Hampshire, going twice.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
Hello, you're on the air with Scott the Bigot.
All right. I was going to ask Scott. He used to call into Alan Combs' show, which Alan Combs is Jewish. He must have been saddened by Alan Combs' passing. And what did he think of Alan Combs? I thought Alan Combs was just the greatest.
I always thought he was a real gentleman.
Alan Combs he used to take my calls, but he used to humiliate me, laugh at me. He thought I was a joke. So I'm not going to speak ill of the dead, but he wasn't. To answer your question, he wasn't very kind to me.
Well, it's understandable why people would think you're a joke. I mean, because some people don't believe you're real. I mean, you're just because you're so over the top.
I may be a joke, but the Klan and Nazi movement is not a joke, and it's here to stay. and they laughed at Adolf Hitler too when he came to power. It's a series of our strength that we're considered kooks and nuts or whatever. When Hitler wrote Mein Kampf,
So
they
Scott,
laughed at him as a
what are you
nutjob.
going to do? I mean, you're in your mother's. You still living with your mom's house, right? Or at your mom's house?
No, I don't know why you keep singling whatever.
I think it's cruel.
I make a living.
It's true, though, right?
I support myself.
It is true,
I
though.
take care of my mom.
Okay, so you do live with your
I do not live in a
mother.
basement. I don't have a tinfoil hat on my head.
Do you live in the
I
attic?
have a master's degree. Yeah, I'm not some backward hillbilly that lives in the hick somewhere.
Those are your
I
allies,
have
just
to-
so you know. Thanks for the call tonight, Scott. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733.
I think Scott was starting to get the better of you, and that's why you hung up on him.
think so?
Yeah, well, I don't know whether he's trying to get the better, but Ian was taking cheap shots rather than showing Scott. If you want to talk about the logical fallacies contained within Scott's philosophy, you don't go saying.
We've talked about that a lot. It's funny that the one time his mom picked up the phone.
That was funny.
Years ago, and it was
funny.
hilarious.
It was
and
funny.
It
There's
was
no
the
doubt.
best Scott.
You're just mad that you can't replicate it.
It was the best Scott call. No, of course you can't replicate greatness like that. I mean, it was hilarious. It'll never be replicated again.
What I want to tell Scott is that I and most people use shortcuts in the way that they look at the world to save a little time. And I think the three of us in this room are mostly interested in other people's behavior, and we use that as a way to judge them.
Sure.
And how they feel about other people being free. So if they give opinions about how all the drug addicts should be locked up and stuff, that we make assumptions about that person. And so I understand how tempting and useful it can be to be able to judge people by their race. But I think that
it's wrong.
That every race has a full spectrum of virtue and vice and goodness and evil, and the good Jews are the people you want to know and you want to be around, and the good black folks, and the evil ones are the ones you want to stay away from. But their race doesn't help as much as you might think it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a cheap shorthand for trying to figure out who the good people are and the bad people, and it will result in disappointment, because you're gonna find, if you decide you're gonna trust people based on their race, which is it's the other side of the coin for not trusting people based on their race, right? So I don't trust those people because of their race. I'm going to trust these people because of their race.
Seems like a policy that's going to get you taken advantage of.
Sure is. It's going to go poorly. Oh, this is done in prisons all across the United States. Please don't think that somehow the white gangs are protecting the white people that first come into prison. They're just the ones that are allowed to exploit those people.
I see.
And that's how it goes with all the colors. I mean, I can speak, most clearly about white folks, because that's what I look like.
You were in prison too.
Right, I was in prison. But black folks are going to, the black gangs are going to exploit the black folks that they think they can exploit, and that's just how that goes.
All right, so you're certainly welcome to weigh in on the Charlottesville thing. I mean, like I said, we talked a lot about it last night, but still people have things to say, so it's open phones here all the time. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. More Free Talk Live coming up.
If you're a sleep apnea sufferer who's on the go, go to your phone. Because if you give us a call right now, you'll be able to try the world's first portable mini CPAP device absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, an engineering marvel that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. Its unique design is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. No more dragging around a big, bulky CPAP. Even better, now you can try Transcend absolutely risk-free for 10 restful nights by calling minicpap.com, 1-800-768-3138. Transcend is FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. You can also add a battery pack that's as tiny as a deck of cards. So now you can enjoy the freedom to sleep comfortably anywhere. But don't wait. To receive your 10-night in-home trial, call minicpap.com now, 1-800-768-3138. That's 1-800-768-3138.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you can go this way? You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait on account. Now. Wait a minute.
Whoa. Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
You
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com. Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Join us right here. Our number is 855-450 free, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's me, Ian.
Me, Jonny Ray.
Me, Mark.
And Mark, tell me about the bullet blocker before we go back to your calls and thoughts.
Bulletblocker.com's website, what they've got there is different backpacks, briefcases, and a variety of different sort of garments and jackets, coats, that sort of thing that block bullets. They're that, what is it, 3A, the IIIA, definition. So they stop handguns, 357, 45.
Some sort of standard, international standard of some sort.
Right. So, they're not going to stop some, sniper rifle or something like that. But the chances of you getting into a problem with a sniper rifle are pretty slim, and I suppose you could outfit them with some kind of steel plate if that's what you wanted to do. But these are gonna handle handguns generally. I checked that out recently. Somebody asked the question as to what exactly bullets do they stop, and I wanted to be as clear as possible on that. But it's this product line is attractive, well made, right here in the U.S. It was created by a former Army Ranger and a firearms instructor with the goal of making backpacks to protect kids in case of a school shooting. So they grew that into a whole line for everybody. You can go get something for the family, too. This isn't the kind of thing you get a second chance at. BulletBlocker.com. If the lives in your family are priceless, protect them at BulletBlocker.com.
All right, we continue with your calls and thoughts. David is on the line, calling from, I think, North Carolina. David, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You sound like you might be on a speakerphone or something like that, so it's a little unpleasant, I guess you could say.
Okay, so I'll try to keep it short then. Just two things real quick. One, I got your legit coin on the way, Mark. So the next time you're sailing your dinghy through the Pamlico Sound, you can feel like Blackbeard, right? So that's number one.
So what you're referring to is you're sending some hard metals and precious metals to the show as a contribution.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and I hope to, convert my, AMP membership over to, silver, and, we can work something out over that offline, like what constitutes, an AMP membership in silver. But anyways, the second thing I wanted to, ask about is last night when Chris Cantwell called, he referred to the removal of the General Lee statue as erasing our history.
That's what he said.
I want to know, did anybody else think it was ironic that a Yankee is referring to the removal as General Robert E. Lee's statue being our history? It's not even his history, right? He's like
He's from New York.
General Lee was shooting at, right? So I just thought that was sort of kind of funny.
I think he's referring to his history as a white nationalist or a racist or whatever, not necessarily that he's from the area or from the South.
Sure, but I think that
I get your point.
David's got a good rebuttal to that. So, David...
I think I support the idea of considering Robert E. Lee to be an American. Also, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina, and I was born in North Carolina. And I would love for more Yankees to claim some kind of kinship with Robert E. Lee. He was a slave owner. He released his slaves.
Was Ulysses S. Grant.
I think Lee's wife maybe was the slaveholder, and she, the terms of her will, I think, had it to have those slaves freed. So Robert E. Lee freed his slaves, but his feelings about slavery for me are still a little ambiguous. I'm not the greatest.
I agree that they are not not the greatest feelings when it comes to this.
But he was an American patriot. As much as and he was a celebrated U.S. soldier before he was the general of the Confederate Army.
Indeed. I concur with that. I do have a question, though, David. So I'm from Florida. Many from the South don't consider me quite Southern enough. But I was born, out in the country, that sort of thing. But I was born to Yankee parents who moved down in the 60s.
You weren't born out in the country. Weren't you born at Sarasota Memorial Hospital?
Okay. So, yes. I was pushed from some woman's womb in Sarasota Memorial Hospital.
Your mother.
But I grew, I don't.
Oh, that's right.
A woman I haven't I've never met.
You're adopted.
But I spent my formative years out east of 75, which means only something to Ian, which explaining where I
east
I
of the
up.
Interstate's real Florida.
Right. Near.
Yeah.
But I guess my question here is that what is clear is that people, some Northerners fought for the South and some Southerners fought for the North in the Civil War. Exactly when does somebody get to sort of switch sides by a Southerner's estimation? To me, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that there's a hard and fast rule. It's sort of kind of like art. You can't really define it, but you know it when you see
it. David, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. Drive safe out there.
Ian, I'd like to add that...
Well, what about an answer to my question, Johnny Ray?
No, I'm just going to have to agree with David.
Do you think that is it impossible for a Northerner to be a Southerner?
No, certainly not.
Okay, so I mean,
how could a Northerner be a Southerner?
You move down there, you establish your residency.
Okay.
So I feel very at home in New Hampshire. These people are in many ways my people. Right.
All right.
I mean, they don't understand grits. I'll give any Southerner that. Like, grits, we got that going on. Barbecue. You want to go to the South.
Are all the grits bad up here? Have you never had good grits up?
You buy it at the grocery store. My wife.
At like a restaurant.
My wife's a Yankee. She learned how to make them.
Grits, I think, are just a vehicle for other things. Isn't that right? Like toast.
For me, I mix in eggs with my grits, so it makes this kind of goop that I like. I'll add salt to it, so we have a salty, eggy goop, and I'm happy with that. But
what I was asking you is, restaurants up here, I presume you've tried some grits.
I don't imagine you're going to get grits at a restaurant.
So you haven't tried it. You've never found.
How are you going to find grits up here?
I've seen them on menus.
Okay, I can't. They must be instant grits because
I got no idea.
The grits that I would presume that if I went to a southern restaurant,
I figured you'd been here a decade. You would have tried grits in the.
I'm not going to eat grits at a northern restaurant. What the hell?
I wouldn't either, but I don't eat grits. So
okay. So my expectation of grits is they're going to be kept in one of those.
I can't even tell you what they are. Is it corn?
Yes, it's corn. A cylindrical silver sort of pot thing that's going to be kept over a warmer with hot water around it, and it's going to be kept like a soup, essentially. You scoop in, you get your grits, you plop some butter in it, and that's how they serve it. If they're not serving it that way, I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with it, and I'm not interested in it. If
you don't want it made to order. You want a pot of grits sitting in the back where there's enough customers coming in that are going to order it.
Right. That's my expectation when it comes to grits. So, anyway, I'm just, having Yankee parents and a Yankee wife and Yankee, pretty much, and a Yankee son and all these Yankees. I kind of wonder to myself when does one switch sides? I'm never going to like those Union soldier statues when I go by them in these towns up here. To me, they are an affront. Every time I see one, it's just a little...
I thought you were defending it last night.
Poke in the eye. No, I'm defending historical statues if people want to keep them. But I consider them a poke in the eye when I see them.
I gotcha.
Nonetheless, that's these people's business that are keeping up that particular property. As long as they're not using government money to do it, which they do, then I wouldn't have a particular problem with it, other than it's like, ugh, hate that crap.
Yeah, that's the fatal flaw in these folks who are so possessive and so have such strong feelings about their monuments. I just want them to understand that whenever you choose the government to safeguard your important feelings or your important property, it's not going to be safe.
You're going to be disappointed at some point.
That's right.
There's a good chance of that. And the fact that people are fighting over a monument is just ridiculous. Look, if you want to save the monument, just, say, look, if you're going to take that thing down, we'll take care of it. We'll put it up over at the white nationalist park that they're buying down the street or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they would have been more productive for all of these angry white nationalists to just pool some money together. And maybe they don't have enough to buy anything really worth looking at. But
if you're going to tear down the monument, I mean, if you're talking about the slag value of bronze, it's going to be pretty low. So if
they can move the monument to their own property.
I understand, Ian, but buying the monument shouldn't be that much if the town,
wants
city,
to get rid of it.
Municipality, or whatever organization.
I meant they'd have to buy property. They'd have to have enough money.
You could go to the VFW and find a place to put your Robert E. Lee memorial.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You don't think the VFW is going to give you a place to put it?
I didn't know they would take a side on that conflict.
This is why I disagree. Of course they would.
Okay, I don't know enough about the VFW. I didn't know they support white nationalists.
No, hold on. These VFWs are just they're individual organizations that use a particular term. Do you think that what city are we talking about here? Charlottesville, Virginia. Yeah. You don't think that some VFW disabled veterans, veterans of foreign wars, whatever it might be, is going to have a place for an American
They might,
general?
But do they want to help the white nationalists out? I mean, is that something the VFW is known for? I've never heard that.
It's not about white nationalists.
It would be if it was a bunch of white nationalists who came down and said, hey, we want to put this statue on your property. You better believe it would be. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can join us. Free Talk Live.
The costs, constant equipment upgrades, and maintenance scare you off? Do you want to make Bitcoin every day in the same mining pool that Ian and I do? Pool.bitcoin.com. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. The website's easy to use, and you can calculate what you're going to make right there on the website at pool.bitcoin.com. Help steer Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. I'm not just making money at pool.bitcoin.com. I'm doing activism while I sleep. Pool.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, August 13th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.10 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,290 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,954. Antiwar.com reports an editorial statement in China's state-run Global Times newspaper warned that China would not come to North Korea's aid militarily if they launch missiles against the United States and the U.S. retaliates against them. While Global Times is nominally not the official mouthpiece of China's ruling party, it is state-run and assumed to reflect government policy. This is believed to be a direct warning against North Korea starting the war. At the same time, the editorial said China would intervene if the U.S. attacked North Korea first, which may be an attempt by China to warn the U.S. against starting the war either, at risk of getting into a much bigger war with China. China has been pushing for diplomacy to resolve the situation and expressed growing annoyance at the U.S. claims that the Chinese could simply and readily resolve the situation unilaterally if they only wanted to. This appears to be one last-ditch attempt to prevent either side from attacking the other, warning that effectively they'll not back the aggressor under any circumstance. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports at least one person died and 30 were injured in a day of clashes between white nationalists and counter-protesters in Virginia on Saturday, with the state's governor blaming the neo-Nazis for sparking the violence and demanding they go home. Federal officials said 2 people also died when a Virginia State Police helicopter crashed near the site of the violence in Charlottesville. It was not clear if the crash was related to the outbreak of clashes in the Southern College town, where protesters fought hundreds of white supremacists trying to halt the planned removal of a Confederate statue from a park. Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe declared an emergency and halted a white nationalist rally while President Donald Trump condemned the violence. Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe told a news conference, "I have a message to all the white supremacists and Nazis who came to Charlottesville. Our message is plain and simple. Go home. You are not wanted in this great commonwealth. Shame on you." The clashes highlight how the white supremacist movement has resurfaced under the alt-right banner after years in the shadows of mainstream American politics. Trump said many sides were involved in the Charlottesville incidents, drawing fire for not specifically denouncing the far right. Trump told reporters at his New Jersey golf course, "We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia," adding, "We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides." A 32-year-old woman died when a car slammed into a crowd in Charlottesville, home of the University of Virginia. 5 people suffered critical injuries and 4 had serious injuries from the car strike, according to the University of Virginia health system. Video on social media and incident captured by Reuters photographers showed a car slamming into a large group of what appeared to be counter-protesters, sending some flying into the air. The driver of the car, an unidentified man, as of late Saturday, had been taken into custody, and according to Charlottesville Police Chief Al Thomas, the incident is being treated as a homicide. The car incident occurred after clashes nearby that injured 15 people and were marked by fistfights, rocks being hurled, and the use of pepper spray. The fighting broke out in the city's downtown when hundreds of people, some wearing white nationalist symbols and carrying Confederate battle flags, were confronted by a nearly equal number of counter-protesters. The Charlottesville City Council voted unanimously to allow the police chief to declare a curfew. The confrontation was a stark reminder of the growing political polarization that has intensified since Trump's election last year. On Saturday afternoon, a silver sedan driving at high speed plowed into the crowd before reversing along the same street. The incident took place about 2 blocks from the park that houses the statue of Robert E. Lee, who headed the Confederate Army during the war between the states. Witnesses said it looked like the driver intended to mow people down. About 24 people were arrested in Charlottesville in July when the KKK rally against the proposed removal of the Lee statue. Torch-wielding white nationalists also demonstrated against the decision back in May. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Thank you, Jode. I appreciate you taking up this issue.
Berto, if a man ain't cooked crisp on the Hellfire Desert, ain't he ought to be left on his own?
Well, right, Jode. Immigrants are desperate for a better way of life.
We need the strongest of these crude backward browns to keep us all alive. And see, the ones that can swim the Rio Grande, too. Berto, you swum that border river to get here, ain't you?
Jode, not all Mexicans came here by swimming the Rio Grande.
No. I got sympathy. I crossed Huron Lake in a barrel myself using hands as paddles. Lived off the carp. What jumped at me? Now, you swum that river,
No,
ain't you?
Jode, actually, I was born here.
What you know about hard work? Ain't never swum no river.
Many immigrants, they
I say you ain't never knowed a man till you seen his teeth. Show him your teeth. Too many teeth rotting out shows you're dishonest in the mind. You got strong manful teeth, Barto. I apologize.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything that you want. Just dial in toll-free here and take control of the airwaves as we launch into the second hour of the show. Of course, you can bring up anything. That is the point of Free Talk Live. Joining you tonight in studio, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts, but then coming up more about the Church of Cannabis. It is a thing, and it's happening in Denver, Colorado. We'll tell you more about it coming up here. But let's go first to the phones and to your calls and thoughts. We've got Kyle on the line in Tennessee, listening to us and or watching on YouTube at cam.freetalklive.com. Kyle, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, just fine.
I would like to say I love the show, and I love freedom of speech.
Thanks.
What's on your mind?
And I'd also like to say racism is really bad. I can't believe that someone would want to hate another person because of the color of their skin. That's just outrageous.
Seems kind of petty.
Wait, hold on.
I totally agree that it is outrageous, but unfortunately...
Hold on, I'm jerking off.
All right.
Coming.
It wasn't as bad of a crank as
it could have been.
It could have been.
Yeah. No, when he said that he was for free speech,
have to dump it. We didn't have to dump him on that one.
No.
When he said that he was for free speech, I thought, alt-right. And I thought there's something's coming.
Something was coming. Yeah, I felt it too. Let's go to Max in Indiana. You felt the disturbance in the force.
Well, all of us were. I'm like waving at Ian.
Oh yeah, I was ready. Hello, Max. You're on Free Talk Live.
Hey guys.
Hey.
So I wanted to can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I just had a question about, so I listened to last night's episode with Chris Cantwell.
Yeah.
And I think I recall him mentioning that he identifies as a libertarian.
He did say that.
I don't recall hearing y'all. Yeah, I don't recall hearing y'all challenge him on that.
That's a good point. I guess it was just, to me, it was just so crystal clear that he's not a libertarian. I mean, he's basically a fascist.
He
and
did
a Nazi.
identify also as a fascist. That his differences between fascism are reaching zero. So I mean, one can't be both, but a libertarian can be a bigot.
That's true, unfortunately.
Right? Like you could believe that people should have the freedom to do to do what they want, so long as they don't harm other people.
Well, now wait a minute, Mark. Go ahead.
And at the same time, believe that for whatever reason, people's ethnicity dictates something about their life.
So you're using the pure definition of libertarian this time, Mark, now that it suits what you're saying, because normally you're the guy who's like, well, libertarian could mean someone who's in favor of smaller government.
Well,
right?
A libertarian could be somebody who is in favor of smaller government.
Well, doesn't that mean that Cantwell would, by your definition, qualify as a libertarian?
I don't know. I don't know enough about him. Haven't talked to him about his political beliefs in some time. He kind of hates me, Ian, because it looks very much like he and his ilk blame me for him being kicked off the air because
but I kicked him off.
I understand that, and you totally take responsibility for it every time it's mentioned.
Yeah.
However,
you advocated for him to be removed.
I didn't the second time. I just asked you, is this what you want for your radio program? I said, read this, and is this what you want for your radio program? Because I already knew what I thought, which was that Christopher Cantwell, a few months before that, had decided that the best way to solve, to answer a question from, he claims an antagonistic poster on Twitter was to call him the N-word. And at that point, your belief that, maybe possibly, using bell curves, maybe blacks don't have the cognition that whites do or whatever.
Whose belief?
His.
Oh, okay, you said your belief.
Well, you're being Cantwell in this case, or anybody else, suddenly gets popped over to the area of racism when you start tossing around the N-word.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can have one of those beliefs. You can hold the belief that some particular ethnicity has lower cognitive skills than another ethnicity. And that's just sort of a scientific beliefy thing, right? But when you start using racial epithets and believing that at the same time, well, yeah, you're full on
racist.
At that point.
Well, just to be semantic, I would say that using like an evidence-based way to distinguish the cognitive abilities of various races, even if it's purely clean sanitary science, it's still racism. It's just
it is racism.
It's just benign racism, but.
Well, I think that racism is a reality. If you're going to be putting together a basketball team, the chances are you're going to want black Americans instead of Hispanic Americans, if that makes sense. So, to say that blacks are better at basketball than, are genetically better at basketball than Hispanics would be both a racist statement and a true statement at the same time. And so racism can be true, but I think we all sort of know it when we see it. It has to do with cognition, largely.
Max, that's a long answer to your question. Did that answer it, though?
Yeah, a bit. I have a couple things I want to add about Cantwell.
Sure.
I think the specifics of the IQ and race debate aside, I think people like Cantwell are using that as a faux scientific justification to legitimize the idea of like a white ethno state. I don't think he's like sincerely interested in like the scientific debate of that. He's just kind of using that to further legitimize racism to sway public opinion against black people and non-white people.
I think he's using it to line his pockets personally. I mean, Cantwell is somebody.
In addition to that,
yes, Cantwell is somebody who will do what gets him paid.
My guess is he's always had a preference for white people.
He did date a black woman.
He would claim that actually, I was looking at the SLPC article about him that is out now, a very detailed detailed piece, and he does actually. There was an interview they did with him. Apparently, Cantwell actually conducted the interview, or the guy who was interviewing him, on Cantwell's show. So the reporter for the Southern Poverty Law Center, or SPLC, actually was on Cantwell's show while he was interviewing him. This is kind of an unusual thing, but that's what happened. And in that article, Cantwell cites that he's had relations with multiple women of different descents that are not white. And I guess he's citing that as a reason why he's not racist, but he is racist, and he admits to it. Anyway,
so he could have had a string of relationships with Afrocentric prostitutes that he didn't have any respect for, and that is his. Yeah, could be that.
Max, what else did you want to say?
Yeah, I think. Well, hold on, Max. I want to regarding what you say. Yes, I think that largely I agree with what you say. However, the white ethno-state thing, I gave him the opportunity to talk about what he saw as sort of an end game for his goals, and I asked him 2 different times back to back, and he wouldn't make a statement as to what his goals were regarding whatever the long-term goal was. Do we want to kill Blackie here? Do you want to ship him off to Liberia? Are you looking to everybody move to South Carolina?
Well, he said it wouldn't be practical to move them out of the country, but he did agree when I asked him straight out, if he wants to have his little white neighborhood or whatever, or white town, and I want to live in a place where anybody can come, no matter what color or race or religion they have. Would he leave us alone as long as we're over in our diverse town and he's over in his whites only? And he said that he would. Now I don't know if all of his white nationalist brethren would feel the same way. As he goes down
to Charlottesville, Virginia, to defend a statue that has nothing to do with his heritage, yes, he'll leave you alone.
Yeah. Max, anything else you want to share? Go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, but also just with the term alt-right and white nationalist, I think these terms are very much euphemisms that those people who adhere to those ideologies are using to have more mainstream appeal. I think at the base of white nationalism, it's still a white supremacist ideology. It's still founded on this idea that like whites are inherently like better than non-whites, and it's still like fostering this sort of racial tribalism kind of thing. And I would just be cautious of using the terminology that they put out to make themselves seem more acceptable to mainstream.
You think white nationalists makes them seem more acceptable?
No, he's talking about alt-right.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, okay. more so than white supremacists.
More so than white supremacists. I'll give you that. Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah. Max, if you had more, you can hang on because that's an interesting comment. Also, more coming up here with your thoughts. Welcome. 855-450 free, like freedom. Free Talk Live.
So when we brought him home, we didn't realize that Bear, the rescue dog, was actually sick. He had very flaky skin. He was dropping a lot of fur. The vet wanted to do steroid injections, special dog food. Nothing seemed to work. So I've been hearing Dinovite on the radio for years.
Petey stopped eating. All his hair fell out.
Itching, licking, missing fur.
DINOVITE.com. 859-428-1000.
And then it finally sunk in. Oh, you're talking about hair and skin. And all right, I'll try it. Well, it took probably 6 weeks, but after we started using Dinovite, no more flaky skin. He doesn't scratch and itch, and he started to put weight on. It was awesome.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Every rescue dog in America deserves Dinovite for 90 days. I wish that we would have started the Dinovite right away. It would have been so much easier.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-7740. That's 800-610-7740. 800-610-7740.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media, and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Talk Live, you dial toll free. Join us on the radio waves here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username here is LRN.FM. And you know what? We are actually just talking during the break here in the studio about Bitcoin Cash, the new Bitcoin, if you will, that sort of forked off from the original Bitcoin or Bitcoin Legacy or Core or whatever the heck people are going to end up calling that thing. That is this new Bitcoin Cash is competing with that. And Johnny Ray, you were asking about how to get some of it. One of the ways to get Bitcoin Cash, so if you already had Bitcoin before the fork on August 1st, then you have Bitcoin Cash in your Bitcoin wallet. You just have to split it off, and there are ways to do that. But the other way to get it would be to buy it from somebody. So Mark might be willing to sell some of his Bitcoin Cash. Or you can go onto an exchange and then change your Bitcoin or whatever else you might have into Bitcoin Cash. So those are 3 ways to do it. But the 4th way to do it is to mine it. And you can do that over at pool.bitcoin.com, where you don't have to worry about the costs and the equipment upgrades and the maintenance. And Johnny Ray, you know a thing or two about this because, I don't know, several years ago now, a few years, 4 years ago, something like that, you got into some Bitcoin mining, or you tried to get into a Bitcoin mining deal with your brother. You got a twin brother.
No. I went halvesies with a friend of mine.
A friend of yours, okay.
On one of those Swedish numbers. What were the KLVs or KLM or something?
But you got equipment, and you had your friend. I'm sorry, I thought it was your brother. Your friend.
Yep.
He had
operated the miner.
He had a place where that thing could be and even get free power.
Yep.
And it still didn't work out financially for you guys.
I'm not ruling out that I may have gotten back what I put into it.
Oh, really?
But
you didn't make anything.
But I don't. Well, I lost a wallet, so I got some of it, but even if I hadn't lost the wallet, it had come to the point where the returns were getting smaller and smaller.
Because the difficulty was going up over time.
Yeah, and it just felt like I would never get to where I had get back what I had put into it.
Right.
So I think the thing to do is not to, unless you're very wealthy, or you've got some kind of super expertise in the field, then buying a miner for yourself or running your own thing for something that is as competitive as Bitcoin mining is a bad idea.
Right, yeah. You've got a lot of competition in the marketplace to try to find these Bitcoins. So what you can do, though, that makes it easy, is you can go to pool.bitcoin.com and then you just throw some money in as Bitcoin in as an investment there, and then they'll buy the hardware, they'll run the system, and they'll just pay out to you. And that makes it a lot easier. And, of course, it's being done. Do you know, Mark, where they're what part of the world their mining operation is in? Is
I got the impression it was in China, but I don't know.
I feel like it was in China too, but I'm not sure. Anyway, they're actually, it seems to be working. Mark and I have tried this as well. We both, before Bitcoin.com was sponsoring the Bitcoin pool, we both signed up independently. And Mark, you did the lifetime contract. I did the 6-month just to kind of test the waters and see what it was like. And it's looking good so far. It looks like I will definitely get the Bitcoin that I invested at the time back out. It's not the best way to get a return, but it is a great way to support the network, to possibly make some money and support Bitcoin at the same time. And in addition, you can also support Bitcoin Core. So if you wanted to get Bitcoin Core, you could literally mine it into existence over at pool.bitcoin.com. Again, that's pool.bitcoin.com. Let's go to back to Max in Indiana. Max, you were commenting about Christopher Cantwell, who we had call into the show last night. Even though we don't agree with his racism, he was one of the people that was involved in the conflict down in Charlottesville on, I think it was Friday night. And so you had some comments about him, just kind of in general. And I found myself curious. I was just wondering, is this Max Sand calling?
No, this is Max Sterner calling.
Okay, gotcha. Anyway, one of the Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, one of the Chris Cantwell followers is also named Max, but he had kind of broken away from Chris, so I thought that might have been you. Anyway, was there more that you wanted to share about the whole scene down there?
I really can't say much. I just watched a couple videos on it this morning. It looks horrific.
It seems so pointless to me. All of this over a statue. I mean, all of this violence, anger, fighting, and I think one of you guys touched on it. I think it was you, Jonny Ray. When you trust the government with something that is dear to you, like in this case, these people believe their heritage is being essed upon by these bureaucrats, you're going to be disappointed, whether it's you trusting them with your retirement or you're trusting them with a statue that you think is really important or whatever. They are bound to disappoint.
Max, I have a question for you. Since you have sort of bitten the bullet or taken the bullet and watched film of this, my first impression was that a guy had driven his car into a crowd of people. And then I got a second impression that he had driven his car into another car, which then hit a minivan, and the second two cars were the ones to strike the crowd and injure and kill people. And it wasn't the intentions, while, of course, bad and fueled by bad things, were not actually to drive into a crowd of people. Do you know anything about that?
From the video that I saw, it appeared that the person who drove the car, it looked as if he drove the car intentionally through the crowd of people, hit another car. That car in turn crashed into another car, and more people were injured. That was what I got from it.
Did somebody die in that car crash?
Yeah, one person did.
Wow. Hey, thanks, Max, for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. I saw one of the clips, but I didn't see more. I know there's probably more than one, but I did see one of them. And I remember seeing on social media, and I don't know whether this was true or not, but the guy driving one of the cars, maybe the first one that crashed, wasn't he also a leftist?
That's what I've heard at this point, but I feel like this is too early to sort of be making news out of this. I need to hear more.
We're not making news. We're just speculating wildly.
Who you're talking about? The villain in the piece,
the supposed villain.
No, he was. There were some right-wing outlets that were saying that he was a lefty, but no, he's not.
Was he a righty?
Yes.
Okay. All right. If you know more, you want to clue us in or weigh in, you're welcome to join us at 855-450 free like freedom. Let's go to Salina, Kansas, where David is on the line listening to KINA. Hey, David.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
Welcome. You're on the air. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, thanks. Well, I, as a libertarian, I believe in the freedom of association. I think you guys put it very well earlier when you said libertarians can be bigots, and that's because of, the freedom of association. But I think you solve racism through the free market.
I agree.
Let's talk about that. Hang on, David. I want to give you the chance to say what you have to here. So one moment. More with David. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. How do you solve racism through the free market? And is that the reason why it hasn't been solved yet? Because we don't have a free market? The toll-free number here is 855-450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live and the Live Sunday edition.
Is that Ellen painting her garage?
Yesterday she was trimming her hedges.
What's her secret?
I heard she was eating this new super berry called the Aronia berry.
Aronia what?
Aronia berries from superberries.com. They're known for having one of the highest levels of antioxidants that helps with overall wellness.
Where can we get them?
Go to superberries.com/radio. And right now we get a free smoothie recipe book with our order. Plus we can save $4 at checkout.
I can't wait. I've got lots of projects I need to get done.
Yes, you do.
Choose health. Eat purple. Superberries.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free and bring up anything that you want if you would like. It's up to you, or we'll talk about stuff. With you in the studio, it's Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
And by the way, if you want to help build a better financial system for everyone, then you really should check out Dash. It's digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, private, and easy. Fees are low, and transactions are fast and can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now, so go to Dash.org and find out why. So let's go back to David in Salina, Kansas. He's listening to KINA. And David, you'd called in. You just said before the break that you think that the way to solve racism is through the free market. Can you tell us more about what you mean?
Well, I think, the best example I have is when you look at people who refuse to bake cakes for gay weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. If someone says, well, I'm not going to bake for a cake for them because they're gay, well, if I could bake really, really well, I'd be like, hey, I'm setting up shop. Bring all your business to me.
Right. I'll bake cakes for anybody.
I'll bake cakes for anyone. I don't care, because that's the market at work. It's the same way, if you've got people who don't want to serve black people. You know what? Without government subsidies, like what we had back in the during Jim Crow days, where the government actually stood up for that kind of crap,
mm-hmm.
Those kinds of businesses would fail. And
if not, they'd be very struggling.
Yes,
it depends on where.
A lot of people.
So there's I know that there's a barbecue place in I can't remember whether it's South Carolina or North Carolina, but there's a barbecue place that was renowned for its bigoted owner. That barbecue place, relatively recently, in the last decade or so, changed hands over to the son of that owner, and the son's like, I don't want nothing to do with my dad's politics. I want to sell barbecue. Mm-hmm. But since it didn't change sort of the family's hands, it didn't change a name or anything like that, many people are sort of struggling with whether or not to frequent this restaurant. Apparently, it's world-renowned for its great-tasting barbecue. Mm-hmm. So it is possible for a place to exist and provide a really great service, but only provide that to a certain segment of society or whatever. Just saying. Go ahead.
Well, you're absolutely right. It is possible for a place like that to exist. For me, what I look at is when I identify, when people try to identify me politically, when I have conversations about the free market, I literally say I see people like dollar bills.
Are all green.
I don't care. I don't care where. That's right. I don't care where they come from. I don't care what their background is. Is that if I've got a product, if I've got a service that they want to buy, okay.
So long as they pay the bill.
That's right. As long as they pay the bill. As long as they pay the bill. Cash,
we only discriminate against people who bounce checks, right?
That's right.
Hey,
that's
David,
right. So
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
That's how I feel. That's how I view it. I view it as let the market work.
I love it. That's totally the message here on Free Talk Live. So you've definitely found the right show, and thank you for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you because we are somewhat new there on KINA in Salina, Kansas. So thank you, and great call. Yeah, nice. I totally agree.
Nice to know that we've got libertarians hanging out in Salina, Kansas too.
And I think I forget where I saw somebody recently pointing this out, but it's an important point, and that is that it's important to know who these racist business owners are. You don't want them to be able to hide behind some sort of non-discrimination laws, right? Let's let them go out in the open. Let them wear their Nazi symbols on their sleeve or put it up in the front window. That way I can know where I shouldn't do business with people, and I can cut those people off in case I was accidentally going to that shop just thinking, oh, this is a great barbecue, and not knowing the beliefs and how the owners act.
Right. The term dog whistle is used relatively often in order to say, hey, that person's really a bigot because, they're saying something that is subtly offensive. Well, dog whistles, isn't generally terribly convincing, this claim of dog whistles, right? People will only believe it if it matches their particular philosophy. I don't want dog whistles. I want somebody to come out and say what they believe.
That's right.
And when you pass all these laws and, that sort of thing, you make it so that people are less likely to say what they believe and more likely to rely on code words, dog whistles, or whatever terminology one wishes to use for this. And that's the difficult part here. Like, we've made, up to this point, essentially overtly bigoted statements are generally not accepted in polite society. But I would be very interested what it would be like if we had a libertarian society. Is now we can know. Now we know what to socially sort of ostracize and that sort of thing, and that would make me happy.
Exactly. Now, would the ostracism be enough in every case to shut down a racist business? I don't know if I'm optimistic enough to say that it would. Because if there's a big crowd of white nationalists or something living somewhere, then they may be enough to sustain barely one of these businesses. But certainly, I think in general, I think the caller's point is true, and that is that allowing the market to work is going to help people end racism. And one of the reasons for that is because if you need to make, if you're looking to make money, and somebody comes to you, and you grew up in like a racist household, right? Grandpappy and daddy were racists, hardcore, and that's what you were indoctrinated with. But then in the marketplace, you realize that you need to do business with as many people that are green, as our caller was pointing out. Then that's going to give you the reason to have a conversation with somebody that you might have certain prejudices against, and maybe that's going to break down the barriers, the business over time, the business of a person honoring their agreements, doing what they say they're going to do, paying their bill on time, things like that. That may break down some of those barriers, some of that bigotry that might have been built up over the years. That's the best way to do it, I think, to have people do business with one another.
I agree. So did W.E.B. Du Bois.
It reminds me of the topic of employment discrimination, and what the Hazlitt types would say is that as long as somebody is working significantly below what they are producing, if they're working and they're being paid below what they could be making, what could be profitably they could be making that's profitable for themselves and their employer, as long as that situation exists, it's an opportunity for somebody else to make money on that guy.
To come in and hire him away, you mean?
Exactly.
So if the business owner, it's a retail shop and he's paying his employee $10 an hour, but he's making $15 an hour off of every hour that employee is working, what you're saying is unless that person is given a raise, somebody else can come in and headhunt that good employee and say, hey, look, you're only making $10 an hour here, dude. Come on over to my shop. I'll give you 13.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's a good thing.
To the extent that the racial realists are correct that black people or others are subhuman and are not as competent as white people, if they're right about that, then racism will work for them in the market, I think. Well, no, because you can you probably I'm not going to go down that road, but to the extent that racism is an accurate portrayal of the world, then that will work for them. But to the extent that the disfavored races are able to be productive and are and can contribute to the world, then it won't be good. It won't be profitable for you at all.
Right.
Well, yeah. One of the things that is often, cited here is this book from 1994, The Bell Curve. But that's taking an IQ in exams. It doesn't talk about other forms of intelligence and that sort of thing. So, I don't know how particularly valuable that particular stance is. It seems it's bordering on pseudoscience, in my opinion.
855 450 free like freedom. This is the live Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. Join us.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-774-3149 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-774-3149. Again, that's 800-774-3149.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting VanDykeMortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial in, toll free, bring up anything you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can bring up anything that's on your mind. With you tonight, you've got Ian,
Johnny Ray,
and Mark.
As we continue, of course, you can take control of the airwaves. Just to bring you back up to speed, earlier in the show tonight, before somebody ended up calling in about Charlottesville, and that kind of took us off in that direction, talking about racism and things like that for a while, we were talking about the Cannabis Church that has opened its doors in Denver, Colorado. The story coming out of The Guardian. And they're calling themselves the International Church of Cannabis. They opened up on April 20th. It wasn't this year. It was last year, so 2016. And they have a real church building that's in Denver, Colorado. And we'll take you back up to where we were in the story here. So they have a public viewing, smoke-free, on Thursday through Sunday. So anybody in the public can come in and, I guess, check out the church. But then they have private cannabis services that are held on Friday nights, and it seems to be growing. They have 1,400 members who are on their roster, their roles, because essentially they're trying to do this legal, which I don't think is a particularly courageous thing, but it is what it is, and good for them. They in Colorado, you can't allow legally anyone to smoke cannabis in a place that's not a private club. So they've made their church private. There has to be a membership. You have to join the church in order to participate in the smoking of cannabis there. But it's not surprising, says medical marijuana here was legalized in Colorado back in the year 2000, which was the first state to write it into its constitution. By 2009, dispensaries began popping up around the state, and legalization of recreational use soon followed in 2012. It has, for the most part, been wholeheartedly embraced, although I've got an article from USA Today that says that it's been an absolute disaster. It's by a drug prohibitionist who really wants you to believe that marijuana legalization has been a horrible thing for Colorado. So if we get a chance, we'll share that with you too. But it says here it's been wholeheartedly embraced. In 2016, Colorado sold more than $1 billion worth of cannabis, created thousands of new jobs, and collected almost $200 million in additional tax revenue. A church dedicated to cannabis may seem strange to us, but in Colorado, it might just be the next logical step. But there have been detractors. Currently, 3 of the founding members, including Lee, are under citation for 2 charges dating back to their opening 420 event. The first for breaking the Colorado Clean Indoor Air Act, which bans smoking in public places, and the second for breaking a state law that forbids marijuana consumption outside of private homes and clubs. They refute the claims, and officials admit they appear to have been adhering to the law since then, but a court date is pending. Now, that's where I say that, these guys are a disappointment ultimately, in the same way that the Cannabis Church in Indianapolis was an ultimate disappointment. They made this big to-do about how cannabis was part of their religious beliefs, and then when the time came to actually show the world their religious beliefs, they chickened out and didn't actually smoke cannabis at their first big gathering, which was, reported on nationally. I think, didn't Derek J even go there for it? I feel like Derek J had called in from there. I think he was actually there.
Yeah, I couldn't say.
So, that was a disappointment because, if indeed this is your religious belief, then you should stand by those beliefs even when under attack from the federal government or the local. In this case, it was the state government in Indianapolis. So you should stand up for that because if indeed it is part of your religious beliefs, then it should be protected. Now, I realize that there are people who've tried to take this to court in the past, and I don't have the history in front of me of how successful or unsuccessful that they have been, like the Rastafarians, for instance. But I think this is still a relatively unlitigated area that would be very interesting to find some attorneys who'd be willing to take those cases pro bono. Of course, the average person can't afford to bring in federal attorneys or whatever. These are not cheap people to bring on board. Dan Pabon from the state's House of Representatives in Colorado goes further. In a recent interview with the New York Times, he said the new church, quote, offends both religious beliefs everywhere as well as the voters' intent on allowing legalization of marijuana in Colorado, unquote. Well, why would that offend somebody? I mean, why would one person who's religious really care that there's a church of cannabis in town?
Well, they either A, they feel like their religion's being made a mockery, that religion generally, and therefore their religion is being made a mockery of. We've heard this regarding the Shire Free Church because, we believe we've got a new revelation surrounding, God and freedom and all that stuff, and people are like, I don't know
anything about having a new revelation. The Shire Free Church is just an interfaith peace church.
Fine,
what's the new revelation?
Well, I believe that God is very concerned with human freedom, and that humans can come to their fullest expression of morality given human freedom. Mm-hmm. And churches nowhere in America are spending any time on that, right? They're all about, repress this, repress that, and that sort of thing. So we need something in that particular area, and all you see is pushback on that. There's very, very little support for that particular, idea.
Well, new religions historically have always been under fire by people who've been around for a while, or religions that have been around for a while. People don't like things that are new, I guess.
So there you go. This church is was under fire because people don't like things that are new.
Fair enough. Also, it says here it offends the voters' intent on allowing legalization of marijuana in Colorado. Well, this guy presumes he knows what the voters' intent was, as though the voters' intent is the exact phrasing of this, whatever the proposal was that was on the ballot in Colorado to legalize it. You don't know why it is people supported that thing. It doesn't mean that just because you vote for a legalization initiative that's on a ballot, doesn't mean you agree 100% with the initiative. I mean, I would vote for a legalization initiative, even though I'm against the legalization of marijuana. I'm for the end of prohibition. I want to see prohibition wiped away. I want to see people be able to grow, sell, give away, smoke, whatever it is they want to do with cannabis without having to ask anyone's permission, without having to pay any taxes. And a legalization scheme is almost always going to come along with regulations and taxes. So I'm against those two things. And everyone I know in the marijuana legalization movement, for the most part, they would also like to see no tax on marijuana. They would also like to be able to grow as many plants as they want to and smoke it outside their house or whatever. They all want those things, but they would all vote for legalization because it ends prohibition, even though it does create a regulatory structure in at least every state that has been tried. Hopefully here in New Hampshire, when it goes through the legislative process, because we don't have ballot initiatives, maybe we've got a small chance, but maybe we'll see fewer regulations or no regulations whatsoever. I know there are going to be some people pushing for that here, but it's not realistic to think that's going to happen, because in order to get these things passed, you generally have to pander to the politicians, and to pander to the politicians means you have to show them the revenue. You have to show them that, this is going to create all this revenue, blah, blah, blah. So this guy's saying that he knows what the voters were thinking, that the voters only want you to smoke marijuana in a club, or, a private club, that the voters don't want you to be able to smoke marijuana outside, that they voted for this very restrictive legalization scheme because that's exactly what they wanted. It's a ridiculous claim. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's nonsense.
So anyway, going on here, this state representative Pabon, introduced an amendment that would ban pot use in churches. But to date, it has failed to gather support. Also, I'd say it's highly unconstitutional. Overall, though, the official opposition seems to be dwindling. Daniel Rowland, spokesperson for the Denver City office, says, quote, as long as they operate within the law and don't offend their neighbors, they're free to do what they want. Well, I'm sorry, but you should be able to offend your neighbors. That's part of freedom. I'm not saying you should, but if the neighbors are offended by the fact that you're sitting outside of your house smoking cannabis, well, sorry. It could offend me that my neighbor's sitting outside of his house on a trashy porch, but it's his house. It's his porch. He can do what he wants with it. I'm willing to respect my neighbor's right to do as he feels with his property. I would like that same respect returned to me. In my mind, that's what being, a good neighbor is about, is respecting your, the freedoms of your other neighbors. Now, that doesn't mean that you should be free to, let's say, blast noise at your neighbor's house and disturb them with sound waves or something like that. But as far as like what you keep on your property, what you do on your property, I don't see why it's anybody's business and why anybody should care.
I think that's why you need judges for that sound stuff and the stuff that goes through the air, like industrial byproducts and pollution.
Particulate matter, sure. Light could be,
light pollution.
Yeah, if you decide you're going to put up a whole bunch of football stadium
lights, get a
lights,
spotlight, point it right at your neighbor's window.
Right at your neighbor's window. I think that could be an issue. I mean, lasers are light, right? You could be burning a hole through your neighbor's house.
When we give that up to that industry up to the socialist bureaucrats, we lose a lot.
There's more coming up here. You can join us. We'll tell you more about the Cannabis Church in Colorado. And you can take control of the airwaves here. Hour number 3 is on the way. 855 450 free. This is Free Talk Live. Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. For an investment of as low as $129, you can have a lifetime mining contract and support the Bitcoin network. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. It's the most profitable pool for miners, paying 120% of the block reward. That's pool.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. Free Talk Live has partnered with Amazon, the largest internet retailer. Imagine a department store category, and Amazon has it. Books, electronics, office products, furniture, jewelry, automotive, toys, clothing, sporting goods, and dozens of other categories. Now you can shop and support Free Talk Live by entering Amazon through our website. Go to shop.freetalklive.com, and Amazon will send us a portion of your purchase. You're going to do the shopping anyway, so remember to enter through our site at shop.freetalklive.com. That's shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, August 13th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.10 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,290 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,954. Antiwar.com reports an editorial statement in China's state-run Global Times newspaper warned that China would not come to North Korea's aid militarily if they launch missiles against the United States and the U.S. retaliates against them. While Global Times is nominally not the official mouthpiece of China's ruling party, it is state-run and assumed to reflect government policy. This is believed to be a direct warning against North Korea starting the war. At the same time, the editorial said China would intervene if the U.S. attacked North Korea first, which may be an attempt by China to warn the U.S. against starting the war either, at risk of getting into a much bigger war with China. China has been pushing for diplomacy to resolve the situation and expressed growing annoyance at the U.S. claims that the Chinese could simply and readily resolve the situation unilaterally if they only wanted to. This appears to be one last-ditch attempt to prevent either side from attacking the other, warning that effectively they'll not back the aggressor under any circumstance. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports at least one person died and 30 were injured in a day of clashes between white nationalists and counter-protesters in Virginia on Saturday, with the state's governor blaming the neo-Nazis for sparking the violence and demanding they go home. Federal officials said 2 people also died when a Virginia State Police helicopter crashed near the site of the violence in Charlottesville. It was not clear if the crash was related to the outbreak of clashes in the Southern College town, where protesters fought hundreds of white supremacists trying to halt the planned removal of a Confederate statue from a park. Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe declared an emergency and halted a white nationalist rally while President Donald Trump condemned the violence. Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe told a news conference, "I have a message to all the white supremacists and Nazis who came to Charlottesville. Our message is plain and simple. Go home. You are not wanted in this great Commonwealth. Shame on you." The clashes highlight how the white supremacist movement has resurfaced under the alt-right banner after years in the shadows of mainstream American politics. Trump said many sides were involved in the Charlottesville incidents, drawing fire for not specifically denouncing the far right. Trump told reporters at his New Jersey golf course, "We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia," adding, "We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides." A 32-year-old woman died when a car slammed into a crowd in Charlottesville, home of the University of Virginia. 5 people suffered critical injuries and 4 had serious injuries from the car strike, according to the University of Virginia health system. Video on social media and captured by Reuters photographers showed a car slamming into a large group of what appeared to be counter-protesters, sending some flying into the air. The driver of the car, an unidentified man as of late Saturday, had been taken into custody, and according to Charlottesville Police Chief Al Thomas, the incident is being treated as a homicide. The car incident occurred after clashes nearby that injured 15 people and were marked by fistfights, rocks being hurled, and the use of pepper spray. The fighting broke out in the city's downtown when hundreds of people, some wearing white nationalist symbols and carrying Confederate battle flags, were confronted by a nearly equal number of counter-protesters. The Charlottesville City Council voted unanimously to allow the police chief to declare a curfew. The confrontation was a stark reminder of the growing political polarization that has intensified since Trump's election last year. On Saturday afternoon, a silver sedan driving at high speed plowed into the crowd before reversing along the same street. The incident took place about 2 blocks from the park that houses the statue of Robert E. Lee, who headed the Confederate Army during the war between the states. Witnesses said it looked like the driver intended to mow people down. About 24 people were arrested in Charlottesville in July when the KKK rally against the proposed removal of the Lee statue. Torch-wielding white nationalists also demonstrated against the decision back in May. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After a flood of customer complaints, Kay Jewelers issued an immediate recall this week of over 2 million cursed engagement and wedding rings. The company's director of public relations released an apology to those afflicted.
I can assure our customers that we were not aware our manufacturers were sourcing diamonds tainted by the darkling Urla. We're strongly recommending customers who have not yet returned their purchases for a full refund to place a mirror in a bowl of black salt, mold a poppet in your image out of clay and your lover's hair, and then burn the poppet in the mirror before the next full moon.
Industry experts are calling this the most egregious safety oversight in jewelry production since 1973, when Zales disturbed the grave of the 16th century sorcerer Maelor.
Sometimes I wake up and I'm trapped in this oil painting of a German village.
They told us that there was a 68% chance that our child would be born with no soul. They sent us this disclaimer suggesting we leave the changeling in the wood and return only at our own peril.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and it's the live Sunday edition of the program. Of course, you can join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, and the Skype username is LRN.FM. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
We'll tell you more about the new Church of Cannabis, the International Church of Cannabis, that has opened its doors in Colorado. Actually opened it over a year ago, but there's a detailed story about them this week over at The Guardian. We'll share some more of that with you. Of course, you're welcome to bring up anything that's on your mind. Let's go to the phones, to the fun. Sean is on the line, calling us from Dallas, Texas. Hey, Sean.
Yes, I'm referring to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
With the hard forking that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then we're coming up to another soft forking. I kind of enjoy the soft forking because the way it's going to work is when they double the block size.
That, as I understand it, is going to be a hard fork in order to double the block size. So you're referring to Bitcoin, the world's first decentralized cryptocurrency that right now, I guess I don't know what it is at right now, but last night, as we were doing the show, crossed into $4,000 per Bitcoin territory. So it's an amazing success story. And this was after the hard fork you talked about, where Bitcoin as we knew it became 2 Bitcoin, where there's now Bitcoin Core and there's this sort of original Bitcoin.
Cash.
Correct. The original Bitcoin is called Bitcoin Core, and then there's the new Bitcoin Cash. And now this second potential hard fork is on the horizon for November, I believe, when they were supposed to take the original Bitcoin and increase what they call the block size, which is a technical aspect of Bitcoin that determines how many transactions per second or minute that the Bitcoin network can handle. They were going to increase the block size by twice. So
it affects it. It doesn't determine it, right?
Yeah, it makes it so they can do more. They can fit more into a block, which means they can do more per minute
transactions,
or whatever.
Bigger, everything.
But the proposal that over 80% of the mining power in Bitcoin had agreed to at the New York agreement back in late May for this so-called SegWit 2X, that particular proposal wasn't agreed to by the people who tend to the original Bitcoin software, what's called Bitcoin Core. So they're talking about staying the course and not going for the 2x block size.
But they're adding SegWit, so that's not the original software.
Sure, but it was the original software, and they're the ones who are taking care of it now. And so they're going to stay the course as is, and they're not going to support the 2x thing. So the 2x people are going to be...
They're not staying the course as is. They're changing the course of Bitcoin to the direction that they want it to go.
Everyone's changing the course of Bitcoin in the direction they want it to go.
So you can't say it's staying the course. The closest thing to staying the course
it's their course.
is Bitcoin Core.
It's up for argument, Mark, but it's their course, it's their software, and they are in the minority at this point. They've got over 80% of the hashing power is behind the SegWit 2x proposal. But the point that I believe that you've gotten wrong, Sean, is that the 2x, the increase of the block size from 1 megabyte to 2, is going to require a hard fork. That's how that has to work, as I understand it.
So the hard forking is fixing to happen.
Is what?
The hard forking is fixing to happen?
I couldn't make out that word.
Or did it already happen with the hard forking, where
there should be another
different ways?
There should be another hard forking.
Oh, you said it didn't happen?
No, I said, did it or did it not happen?
It did.
There was a hard fork, and there'll be another, sir.
So the hard fork that happened on August 1st, where Bitcoin split into 2 Bitcoins, was when a group calling themselves the User-Activated Hard Fork went ahead, which was basically a company called Via BTC that sort of went forward with this idea. They went from 1 megabyte to 8 megabytes as the maximum block size. They said, well, we don't want to do 2 megabytes. We want to jump all the way to 8 right now. And then they created this hard fork, and some of the mining power got behind it, and so that's what happened there. So yes, it already did hard fork, and Bitcoin's better off because of it.
So there's a big forking problem in between the old miners and the new miners and all the people with the hash power.
Indeed.
It is a big forking problem. There's no doubt about that. And the big problem really is the confusion that comes from it. I think it's, the market so far, at least if you look at the price of Bitcoin and the price of Bitcoin Cash, the new thing, shows the market thinks this was a good move, right? Like the prices of the price of Bitcoin has gone up tremendously since this fork happened. The price of Bitcoin Cash hasn't really done that much worth talking about. It's kind of up and down a little bit. It's usually at about a tenth of what a Bitcoin is worth. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bitcoin Major, I bought it back when I first heard y'all speak about it, back when it was in this slump at $600.
Woo, good deal.
I'm saying pretty good.
Yep, I bet you are feeling pretty good.
No doubt. Hey, Sean, thanks for calling in tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. And yeah, everybody.
One last one last thing.
Yeah.
One last thing is I'm a heart failure special. I have heart failure.
Okay.
And I heard in your last segment about cannabis.
Yeah.
And it has actually truly been a medicine that is far beyond and far cheaper than what I can get from the doctors, and it works much better to not only lower my blood pressure, but also to help regulate everything. And it's a miracle. It's a miracle. I mean, why don't we have this legalized right now for everyone to use? I mean, it just blows my mind.
Marijuana lowered your blood pressure?
Yes.
It's a miracle drug as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the things that it can help people with are just so amazing, and all of the stories that people have from medical patients are so persuasive. I mean, you would think that wheeling a crippled man in front of a group of politicians might help sway them, but man, it doesn't help that much, and it is a hard-going process to try to change the system. It is brutally slow and frustrating, and I agree with you. It would seem that anybody with a dose of common sense or decency would support ending this insane prohibition, but unfortunately, the brainwashing about prohibition and about this drug and all of the other ones is so intense, and it's still so effective after all of these years, after all of the propaganda. We think, because we've seen all the rebuttals, and we know that the propaganda is ridiculous and laughable, and I mean, everybody that we know knows this, it seems like, but there's this group of people who's in power, and they don't want to let that power go. Whether it's the cops, the politicians who are sort of owned by the cops, or allied with the police, these are the people whose bread is buttered by this war on drugs, and they do not want that funding drying up.
No, they don't.
I think that's a major reason why it's still the way why things go as slowly as they do. And Sean, thanks again for the call and thoughts tonight. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom, 855-450-3733. And that's why I think it is more important, than ever for people who understand the things that we do to come together physically in the same geographic area. Look, it makes a difference. We were talking about this tonight at the local Libertarian meetup that happens every Sunday here in Keene. About these political migrations, about how when the leftists moved into Vermont in the 1970s, it was a very, coordinated thing. Hey, move here, leftists, hippies, whatever, commies. Come on up. Let's get to
everybody from New York City that's squatting or whatever they're doing, playing a guitar.
Didgeridoo.
Right on the corner. I don't think they were doing didgeridoos at the time, but whatever. Let's all go up to Vermont where population's low, life is good. We'll get back to the land, because get back to the land was a real thing then too, and we'll have commune farm things going on, and it really worked.
It worked. They changed the political landscape in that state. Vermont used to be a red state, and that migration was a huge impact there. The Mormons moving to Utah. Anybody that looks at the politics of Utah knows that there is a very distinct influence that the Mormons have had on the state government there. And still do. So, the idea of migrating for a purpose, a political purpose, or, belief system makes sense. We've proven, again, that it works here because libertarians have been migrating here for quite a while now. The New Hampshire Freedom Migration is ongoing, so if you want to learn more, go to 101reasonsfilm.com and check that out. There's more coming up here on Free Talk Live.
Have you ever thought you'd like to flip houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? Are you ready to be your own boss so you can start living the good life? Hi, I'm Preston Ely. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity turned off 9 times, but I figured out a way to quit my job and find financial freedom in real estate. For a limited time, I want to send you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It shows you how to copy exactly what I did so you can make money from the comfort of your own home without even doing any manual labor. I've already given away 5,000 books and they're going fast. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-958-9256. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. It's short, fun to read, easy to understand, and awesome. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call 1-800-958-9256. Call 1-800-958-9256. 1-800-958-9256.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the show. You can dial in here toll-free. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
Hey, Mark, what's the latest over at hope.freetalklive.com?
Well, they're completing the second story. They've got nearly the entire
Of what?
Of the orphanage that we're building in Jinja, Uganda.
Well, you're helping fund. They're building it.
Well, I mean, doesn't that mean helping build?
When I produced Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, I didn't do any of the editing or the the actual making of the movie.
Did you make a movie?
I helped make a movie.
Okay,
yeah.
helped to make a movie.
I made it possible.
Helping to make a movie means you made a movie, right? Like when you have a crew who's working on a house,
Yeah.
At the end of that, they'll say, I built that house. Right? Like they'll take personal responsibility for that. That's fine.
I had the pleasure of assisting production with that, with Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, and we're having the pleasure of assisting these people with fundraising so they can build an orphanage for 40-plus orphans.
Free Talk Live's building an orphanage in Jinja, Uganda.
Specifically, it's our listeners who are...
They're the ones doing the funding. We're just the conduit through which it's
We're
done.
just talking about it and asking for help, and the listeners are stepping up, and they're having their funds being matched twice by the folks over at Cell 411, which is getcell411.com. Great app for your phones for emergency alerts. And then also the official wallet of Free Talk Live, Jax at jax.io, jaxx.io. They're double matching, meaning if you donate $10, it becomes $30.
Right.
If you donate $50, it becomes $150.
Right. Absolutely. And you can go and donate right now at hope.freetalklive.com. There are pictures there of the orphans. There are pictures of the way they have to get water today. There's pictures of the conditions in which they're sleeping. There's everything you'd want to know about what's going on, I believe. And if that's not enough, then my email is right there, mark@freetalklive.com, to answer any questions you might have regarding this situation. But it's hope.freetalklive.com, and I hope that you will want to donate.
All right, you can bring up anything you want to discuss. We've been talking about everything from the Charlottesville racist versus Antifa conflict that happened over the weekend or on Friday.
But now that's a mischaracterization, isn't it, according to Cantwell, because there were about 20 Antifa guys. And
well, I said it was a conflict. I didn't say they were equal sides.
Conflict.
There was some fighting going on. I don't know if you saw the videos, but
no, I didn't.
There was an all-out brawl that happened there, and it was all over a statue of Robert E. Lee that the Antifa people had surrounded, and then the fascists surrounded the Antifa people, and one side attacked first, whoever it was, and there was a pretty big brawl.
I assumed that's what it was when I first heard about it, because that seems to be kind of what's happening. Is rightists will have a free speech event, and then leftists will come, and everybody comes ready for battle.
That's right.
The Antifa comes with their ninja costumes on, and and
apparently tear gas.
The alt-rightists come with construction helmets or baseball helmets
and tiki torches,
batons and stuff. But then I decided that I had made an incorrect assumption, and that it was basically Unite the Right, were your rightists, and I don't know what various groups composed them, but that the other side were, just sort of run-of-the-mill folks, not really, not come to do battle necessarily.
According to Chris Cantwell, that was not the case. Chris, who is one of the right-wing
so they were
racists,
they were just outnumbered.
The Antifa people were far outnumbered, according to Chris, and according to any photos you see, any wide shots of this scene. There were literally hundreds of torch-bearing right-wing racists that were there, and a fraction of Antifa, which flies in the face of our earlier caller's claim that Antifa is funded by George Soros, because if that's true, then they're having a tough time recruiting people to get paid to go out and have a fight. Anyway, you can share your thoughts here. Nathan is on the line, listening to WLNI FM in Lynchburg, Virginia. Hello, Nathan.
Hey, good evening, guys.
Hey, welcome.
Hey, I just wanted to talk to you about that
sure.
Event. I'm down in Lynchburg. It's 45 minutes south of Charlottesville.
Okay.
And about 3 weeks ago, a month ago, the Ku Klux Klan went up there to protest them taking down these historical statues, and they were way outnumbered, and there was a lot of violence.
So the KKK was outnumbered by Antifa?
Yeah, this wasn't the most recent one. That happened yesterday. This happened like 3 weeks, a month ago. They went up there. They came from North Carolina. And they legally got the permission slips from Charlottesville and whatever to have a protest, the KKK. And then all of a sudden, all these other people start showing up who obviously did not appreciate the Ku Klux Klan, and I don't support the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
But I also don't support the other side either.
Correct. Yeah, they're both pretty disgusting.
And it started getting violent. That was 3 weeks ago, a month ago, so almost a month ago, over the same statue. So yesterday, I'm just sitting here minding my own business, and I get the news reports coming, and I see what's going on, and I know a couple people who live up there and whatever, so I called them up. And it seems like, again, the Ku Klux Klan or neo-Nazis or whatever, they got permission to hold this rally, a peaceful demonstration against the policies of Virginia that are taking down these Confederate statues, these historical monuments. And next thing you know, all these people start showing up again, the same ones who showed up 3 weeks ago, and started violence. But this time, the right was ready for violence because they saw what happened last time.
Okay.
They weren't ready. So I just want to send a message out there to all denominations of all religions and all politics that if you bring a baseball bat to a peaceful protest, you shouldn't be there in the first place. Peaceful protests are mandatory and are protected under our Constitution, and they need to go peaceful. But if you bring violence, don't expect that someone's not going to get in their car from Ohio and drive over a bunch of you, because the right, the left, doesn't matter. Violence is violence. This is American against America here. This has got to stop.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you bring violence to a peaceful protest, you've lost already, because, your ideas don't deserve to be listened to, considering you want to enforce them with violence. You want to push them on others with violence, and that, right there invalidates any interest I think most people would have in listening.
I, for one, look forward to the day that I can carry a tiki torch without being called a Nazi.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, guys? I want to talk to you about something quickly.
Yeah.
Dealing with this. The fascists are not the right. I know a lot of people who are on the right, what they call the alt-right. And let me tell you something. They've got jobs. They don't have time to go protest. They don't have time to run people over with cars or to wear helmets or to bring baseball bats. They're just hardworking people who have certain views and certain opinions that are not harmful to others. There are certain religious beliefs that they're hanging on to or whatever. But they're not fascists. Freedom of speech will be protected by the right. The left right now is saying you can have freedom of speech and we'll protect freedom of speech as long as you don't believe what the right believes. That's the true fascist, is the left right now.
Well, there's definitely some oppressive people on both sides, and I think you're right. I mean, just because somebody's on the right doesn't mean they are the alt-right, and that's one of the divisions, and that's what the alt-righters were trying to unite. I don't think that strategy is going to work. Nathan, thanks for sharing your thoughts with us tonight. More coming up on Free Talk Live.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
If there's a toxic chemical, biological, gas, smoke emergency while traveling, at home, or on your job, are you protected? Are you prepared? There are over 400,000 fires in the USA every year. Up to 85% of all deaths in a fire are due to smoke inhalation. 3 minutes without air, and we as humans will die. Be prepared and escape safely with our Safe Escape Smoke Hoods, giving you up to 60 minutes of breathable air protection. Order yours online at ase-safety.com. That's ase-safety.com. And get up to 40% off plus free shipping.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free, take control of the airwaves, and if you don't, we'll talk more about the International Church of Cannabis that has opened its doors over a year ago in Denver, and they're still there. We'll tell you about what's going on with them. And joining you in our studio tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
Let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. Sarah is on the line in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I want to understand why you feel this the ART, the rapid transit, is crammed down to our throat. When, I've been a resident of Albuquerque for 15 years, and I've been voting there for the councilors and for the mayor who want better bus systems. So who is this saying that it's cramming down people's throats?
Well, you already, as a free person, Sarah, have a mechanism to get any kind of transportation that you can dream of. As long as enough other people want it, then you can have it, and you don't have to extract money from your neighbors. You don't have to require that they get on board with your project. You can just, whatever works for everybody will be profitable, and everybody can do that. And when you try and get a city to do something for you to promote your pet idea, then that's what I would mean by cramming it down somebody's throat, making them pay taxes for your idea.
Well, the thing is that I do admit that there's people that oppose it, the boat businesses or people that want nothing to change or progress in New Mexico. The people that are born and raised here, they've seen Central the way it was ever since they were born, and they've been here 55 years, and they fight change, even if it's for the better. But, there's a lot of people that want us to have a safer intersection, that want to have the latest bus system. That's better. So, we live in a world where, I have a lot of disagreement with a lot of your libertarian views.
Sure.
But you're entitled to your views, and so am I. So we live in this world where we all have different reality, and we have collisions.
Okay,
because
so
we look at the whole world in a different way.
Let me ask you this, Sarah. So if we all live in a town, 99 people, there's 100 people in the town, 99 people want a bus system. Should that one person who doesn't want a bus system be forced to pay for the bus system that 99 people want? Or should the 99 people just get together and buy a darn bus and run their darn bus and leave the one person out of it? Which one's better?
Well, the thing is, the way that community is, if the 99 people want a better bus system, then they just get it. It's like the red light cameras here.
But that didn't answer the question. That didn't answer.
Well, no, she did answer the question. She said the better way is that the one person should be forced.
Did you just want to be clear? You do want to force that one person to fund the thing they don't want to fund, right?
Well, the thing is, we help fund that person. What are you guys talking about? Everybody pays taxes, and it gets appropriated to things that we don't want anyway. There's a lot
Well,
of
right.
things
So
that I don't
shouldn't
want
you?
to go
Right.
vote.
So why should you be forced to pay for something you don't want? So, for instance, one of the things we agree on is that we're against war. Right? You're against war.
Right.
Right. So, isn't it wrong for the people who want war to force you to pay for war?
Yeah, but they do it. We don't have a say-so.
Agreed.
Okay, so you agree that it's
they
wrong.
They do, but they don't do it through a vote. They do it through the sort of the representative system. Like I have yet to get to vote. How do you feel on the war? Right? Like yay or nay. Nobody ever asks me that. You may get to vote on your bus that way, but we don't get to vote on the war.
But even if you did vote, you'd still be forced to do it if you lost.
But even so, that would be the way it was. And so, what we're proposing here is a system where people who want to fight wars can fund their wars, and people who want bus systems can fund their bus systems.
And you leave everybody else out of it.
Everybody gets what they want, and then nobody gets what they don't. Isn't that a better system, Sarah?
So then, if I don't want to pay for your I want none of my federal tax dollars to go for your kids' school and for your public roads. If it's federal tax, I don't want you to have it in your neighborhood.
Yep.
I mean, am I entitled to say that to you, Mark?
Well, I don't think you should.
Yes.
I don't think you should pick which neighborhood. I think you should either say I'm for government-funded roads or I'm against government-funded roads. But by and large, yeah, I don't send my kid to government school because I do not want my kid A, educated by government bureaucrats, B, to be a burden on other people. You don't pay for my dog's food. Why would you pay for my kid's schooling?
Well, you know what? It's nonsense what you're talking about because we live in a community, and then everything
It takes a
comes out of
village
the
to raise a
community
child.
taxes.
Yeah, takes a village to ruin a kid's education.
So basically you're saying you're fine with being taxed to send people off to die in a war if you can go ahead and tax people to fund a transit system.
Of course, what I'm saying is it's better off that we fund the transit system rather than having the money go to war.
But no.
You don't get the choice, though. You got the war and the bus.
You're the one who is saying
you can pick the war and the bus, or no war and no bus. But you don't get to pick a bus and no war. I ain't seen that happen yet, Sarah.
Well, you should be able to pick that. You should be able to fund just the bus.
I think you should. That's what we're here on Free Talk Live, giving you the option. But when it comes down to government, Sarah, once you give the government the ability to take one penny for one thing, they've got the ability to take whatever they want for whatever they want.
Thanks for the call, Sarah. Toll-free number tonight, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. As we continue, you can share your thoughts with us on anything that happens to be on your mind on this live Sunday edition. So we were discussing the church, the Cannabis Church there in Denver. And they've been open for over a year at this point. And what about those neighbors? Peter G. Cronus, this from The Guardian, writing in a local paper, the Denver Post, said he felt blindsided, angry that the project was done in secret, and that the neighborhood didn't have a chance to voice concerns prior to its completion.
What's going on inside this church? The neighbors should have... I love these people.
Parking and noise.
It's a church. It's a big building with a pointy roof. Right. Okay? It's not like this came as a surprise to anyone.
Yeah, what was he expecting that was going to happen to the church? I mean, if it wasn't going to be a church anymore, it was certainly going to be something where people would need to park and go into. Like if you're going to take an old church building and convert it into offices or whatever else.
They were talking about originally turning it into apartments, which would have people parking in the evening. It could be that this gentleman is upset that the parking
Where was the
is
thing
happening.
about the apartments?
That was the early part of it. They were turned into flats. Do you recall?
Oh, yeah.
And what the gentleman could be upset about is that the church services are held on Friday evening rather than Sunday morning, and that he thinks church should be on Sunday morning. But I would remind him...
Because all churches must be the same, right?
Catholic Church is very good at having services all throughout the week
Wednesday,
at different times, so that could very well happen. Plus, there's such thing as midnight mass. Generally, it's only held on Easter, but no particular reason why it would have to be.
Parking and noise, rather than the consumption of marijuana inside, still seem to be the major worries, as well as the possibility that attendees will drive home stoned. Guess what? That's been happening since before Prohibition. marijuana users have been driving for many decades. It's just now legal for them to smoke it in certain places. It's still not legal for them to smoke it and drive, but again, that's not going to stop them from doing it.
And that should be the crime that it is. And like with alcohol, the crime with alcohol isn't imbibing alcohol. It's imbibing alcohol and getting behind the wheel. With marijuana, if the crime is going to be driving under the influence of marijuana, then that should be the crime, not the smoking of marijuana or where you smoke it or whatever.
So Lee's hoping to turn them around, arranging volunteer days through the church to help make a positive impact in the community. Last Saturday, they were out collecting rubbish from local streets, and for now at least, there seems to be a tentative truce.
Okay, so the rubbish collecting is probably a pretty good idea, but why is it that one has to come into a neighborhood and show, I've got good faith here, I'm going to pick up your garbage for you because you people are a bunch of complaining busybodies, right? Like that's a jerky thing to do. Look,
to pick up garbage or to complain?
Right. I mean, these people have a building with a pointy roof. It's a church. Why are you complaining about it? We didn't have an opportunity to talk about their church and see who wanted them to be able to have a church where the church is.
Some people just love to complain. Yeah, they love to find fault. I mean, they need something to talk about. Their lives are boring. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, you can join us on the radio. It's Free Talk Live.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
Ooh, get the stinky dog away from me. DINOVITE.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
And membership is only $9.95.
Yep. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
It's the Onion Radio News. JCPenney abandons its 45-second sale. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Word came today from JCPenney headquarters in Plano, Texas, that the retail giant will discontinue its 45-second sale. The bargain bonanza, in which all JCPenney merchandise is discounted by 60% for 45 seconds starting at 1 p.m. daily, simply wasn't pulling in enough revenue. CEO Alan Questrom.
The 45-second sale drew very strong customer response, but regrettably, only a handful of shoppers actually got to capitalize on our fantastic prices due to the horrific injuries they sustained during their stampede to the cashier.
Questrom added that plans are in the works to create a longer 2-minute sale intended to give frantic shoppers at least a fighting chance to enjoy incredible store-wide savings. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Moments remain here. Enough time for you if you get on the phone now. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Jonny Ray,
and Mark.
Of course, you can bring up anything you want. We're going to go back to the phones and the fun, but I do want to invite you to AMP the show over at amp.freetalklive.com. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. It's $5 a month, and that's money that we can invest into the show to help us get on new radio stations around the country, bring new internet listeners on board, and expose new people to the ideas of freedom. So head on over to amp.freetalklive.com, amp.freetalklive.com. You'll get perks like access to the AMP-only call-in lines, AMP-only Facebook group, the AMP-only podcast, and more. The brand new badge, the Free Talk Live badge for amplifiers only on the new Free Talk Live forum. That's another new perk over at amp.freetalklive.com. You can use PayPal, you can use credit card, and more. So head on over to amp.freetalklive.com and Bitcoin as well. Let's go to Carl. He's in New Jersey listening to WPG. Hello, Carl.
Thanks, Guy. I've called you guys before, but when you bring up the government schools, it makes me so angry, just like it makes you angry. Because where I live in Acorn Township, they raised our taxes for the schools 6 cents, but then I don't know if they used Common Core math or something, because then they realized it was 9 cents. The municipality 1 cent, the county I think 2.2, and I went to the school board meeting because they got $1.45 million from the state. They were voting. They wanted to keep it all. I mean, it's more tax money for them, and I spoke. I said, give it all back to us. And others said the same thing.
Did they laugh at you?
Well, no,
because they laugh at us when we go there.
Yeah, well,
we'll go into the school board meetings, and the teachers will laugh at us for proposing any reductions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
well, of course, because they're broken, underfunded, and they need more money. They always
they're perennially underfunded. I mean, there's never a time when they don't want more money. Even though right now I don't know what it's like there, but here in Keene, I think it's $20,000 per pupil. What do you guys? What is the spend rate there in New Jersey where you're at? Do you know?
Well, some towns are higher than that. Ours isn't that much. I think it's 13,000. So.
Wow.
But they have a lot less students, and they won't get rid of anybody in the schools. They won't even admit they have less students.
Yeah, that's they're doing the same thing here. The student population is going down, and they want more money.
Right.
They need more money. They desperately need more money.
Right.
Because this is where people miss it. This isn't an organization to educate kids. This is an organization to keep a public sector union going.
Right. In other words, higher salaries, higher pensions, and they even have a big problem with substitute teachers. I mean, they have so many in the year, and I'm thinking, like, why? I mean, why aren't you teachers coming to school? Why do you have all these substitutes? I mean, the only answer is vouchers, that people can not go to these government schools.
Well, it's a step. I mean, really, the vouchers are just a step. The answer is to get the government out of government, wealth redistribution for educational purposes entirely, and allow people to decide for themselves. Allow the market to create solutions for people. So the Christians can send their kids to a Christian school. The atheists can send their kids to an atheist school, and the art people can send their kids to an art school, and everybody should be able to have whatever kind of education they want.
Yeah, and guess what? The transgenders can send their transgenders to transgender schools, too.
Thanks for the call, Carl. I appreciate hearing from you tonight. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Let's talk to Larry. He's in Evansville, Indiana. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian, Jonny Ray, and Mark.
Thanks for taking the call.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. I know I'm catching you close to the end of the program. But make my point, but let me address that individual that just called. There is a problem with the public schools because if you live near a state line, you will also see the schools keeping their enrollments up by allowing children through the parents through the open enrollment program, and they don't care if they live in another state, which is not supposed to be, because you'll see a lot of kids being dropped off in cars with out-of-state plates.
Because for each student, they get a bigger budget, right?
That's correct. So they don't care as long as the kids drop it. All the people have to do is get a P.O. box and a cell phone number with in-state number on it, and they get around that system. So the school keeps getting more funds. Huh. But and that normally happens near state lines. But my point was the other night you had got kind of like a lively conversation with Mark there about the individual that committed suicide in the truck and the supposed
the girlfriend
the
who
girl being
talked him into it.
Involved in that, right? Well, just recently that happened again.
Really?
And a person hung himself in his bedroom because he was being bullied and such. Mm-hmm. Now, I know that you said that in your discussion with Mark, you said, well, then the mother should talk to the dead son, which was your comment. And now I'll use that as a quote because you did say that. By the way, though, this one that committed suicide was 9-year-old third grader.
Yeah, I've heard the story.
You want to still stay by that term and by that quote?
What was the quote again? I'm sorry.
The mother should talk to the dead son.
In the other case, you said the mother should talk to the dead son.
I don't remember what that was in reference to. I'm sorry. I've been distracted with some things going on in the background here.
That was in reference to Mark talking to you concerning the culpability of the young lady at the time.
Oh, right, because the son was the one who took his own life.
Right. Well, this other boy that took his life was a 9-year-old third grader.
By the way, Jack's 9. Just so you're clear on
your son,
my
Jack.
son Jack is 9. Just so you're clear on what kind of cognitive ability a 9-year-old has. I'm stunned that this kid was able to even figure out how to make a noose and hang himself.
Oh wow!
But that's what he did, and he did it supposedly because of bullying. It's to me what it is a symptom.
Where's the cutoff on the age? Is it 17? Is it 18? Is it 9? Is it 10?
I don't set age cutoffs. I mean, to me it has to do with the maturity of the individual there. I mean, I'm sorry, it's a tragic story, but ultimately there's going to be people who say mean things on the internet, and most of them you're not going to know who they are. So, you can be as upset about it as you want to. The only thing that you can do is to inform your children that these people shouldn't be paid attention to, that these are mean, ugly, mean-spirited, nasty people, and you need to not read the YouTube comments, and if there are people sending you messages on Facebook, you need to block them if they're making you feel uncomfortable. There's no reason that you should subject yourself to that stuff. But, the world's not perfect, and some kids are going to commit suicide. It's tragic.
Well, in your discussion with Mark, though, I feel Mark was correct in that, because if someone is psychologically not capable of handling the situation, or mentally not capable of handling the situation, then there can be.
If your child cannot handle being on the internet, then maybe you shouldn't let them on the internet.
It's not me.
I'm not clear that this kid killed himself because of internet bullying. I think he might have killed himself.
It wasn't internet bullying. It was bullying at school.
Right, it was school bullying.
Who shares the culpability there? The school, the mother, the son?
Yeah, I would say that sending your kid to a government school, could be considered abuse.
You don't think the school has any responsibility?
Sure. I mean, they shouldn't be allowing kids to do that, but most of the time they won't know. If there's some kids on the playground or whatever that are saying things, the teacher's not necessarily right there. They're not gonna. And then it's gonna be he said versus she said if one of them goes and tells the teacher about it. So you don't have any real proof of what actually transpired.
It's a really tragic situation, and
no doubt,
as far as I can tell. And the thing is that people don't want to place blame when it comes to bullying. It's like, well, kids are going to be kids, and these sorts of things. But I don't have to worry about it with my son because I don't send my son to these places.
Well, there's
lots of people do.
There's a big difference though between bullying in real life and some anonymous troll sending you a nasty message on the internet, right? Like the classic bully in real life. This lady isn't an anonymous
troll. This was his girlfriend, right?
Okay, I thought we were talking about the 9-year-old.
The 9-year-old wasn't on Facebook, Ian.
Okay, I understand. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between. Hold on. There's a difference between being bullied in real life, like the 9-year-old was, right? He was
Yes.
bullied at school. This is what I'm trying to say. And somebody picking on somebody on the internet. In real life bullying, there's usually somebody who's bigger than you, who's trying to extract lunch money or trying to extract some sort of favors or obedience or whatever. And that's very different than some anonymous, troll saying you're ugly or, 4 eyes or whatever it is that they're saying to you, nasty YouTube comments or Facebook messages. A completely different story. The person on the internet, you don't know them. They're probably not even living in the same town as you. They're not threatening to beat you up the next day. So it's a completely different story. And I'm not saying I support people being nasty online, but to compare the two, I don't think is fair. We're out of time for tonight. Hey, Larry, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate the discussion. If you didn't get on tonight, well, we're sorry about that. We'll be back tomorrow night. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com. We do this show live 7 nights a week. So if you didn't get a chance to get in tonight, you can always join us tomorrow. And online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are 1. Share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, August 13th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.10 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,290 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 4.1 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,954. Antiwar.com reports an editorial statement in China's state-run Global Times newspaper warned that China would not come to North Korea's aid militarily if they launch missiles against the United States and the U.S. retaliates against them. While Global Times is nominally not the official mouthpiece of China's ruling party, it is state-run and assumed to reflect government policy. This is believed to be a direct warning against North Korea starting the war. At the same time, the editorial said China would intervene if the U.S. attacked North Korea first, which may be an attempt by China to warn the U.S. against starting the war either, at risk of getting into a much bigger war with China. China has been pushing for diplomacy to resolve the situation and expressed growing annoyance at the U.S. claims that the Chinese could simply and readily resolve the situation unilaterally if they only wanted to. This appears to be one last-ditch attempt to prevent either side from attacking the other, warning that effectively they'll not back the aggressor under any circumstance. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports at least one person died and 30 were injured in a day of clashes between white nationalists and counter-protesters in Virginia on Saturday, with the state's governor blaming the neo-Nazis for sparking the violence and demanding they go home. Federal officials said 2 people also died when a Virginia State Police helicopter crashed near the site of the violence in Charlottesville. It was not clear if the crash was related to the outbreak of clashes in the Southern College town, where protesters fought hundreds of white supremacists trying to halt the planned removal of a Confederate statue from a park. Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe declared an emergency and halted a white nationalist rally while President Donald Trump condemned the violence. Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe told a news conference, "I have a message to all the white supremacists and Nazis who came to Charlottesville. Our message is plain and simple. Go home. You are not wanted in this great commonwealth. Shame on you." The clashes highlight how the white supremacist movement has resurfaced under the alt-right banner after years in the shadows of mainstream American politics. Trump said many sides were involved in the Charlottesville incidents, drawing fire for not specifically denouncing the far right. Trump told reporters at his New Jersey golf course, "We're closely following the terrible events unfolding in Charlottesville, Virginia," adding, "We condemn in the strongest possible terms this egregious display of hatred, bigotry, and violence on many sides." A 32-year-old woman died when a car slammed into a crowd in Charlottesville, home of the University of Virginia. 5 people suffered critical injuries and 4 had serious injuries from the car strike, according to the University of Virginia health system. Video on social media and captured by Reuters photographers showed a car slamming into a large group of what appeared to be counter-protesters, sending some flying into the air. The driver of the car, an unidentified man as of late Saturday, had been taken into custody, and according to Charlottesville Police Chief Al Thomas, the incident is being treated as a homicide. The car incident occurred after clashes nearby that injured 15 people and were marked by fistfights, rocks being hurled, and the use of pepper spray. The fighting broke out in the city's downtown when hundreds of people, some wearing white nationalist symbols and carrying Confederate battle flags, were confronted by a nearly equal number of counter-protesters. The Charlottesville City Council voted unanimously to allow the police chief to declare a curfew. The confrontation was a stark reminder of the growing political polarization that has intensified since Trump's election last year. On Saturday afternoon, a silver sedan driving at high speed plowed into the crowd before reversing along the same street. The incident took place about 2 blocks from the park that houses the statue of Robert E. Lee, who headed the Confederate Army during the war between the states. Witnesses said it looked like the driver intended to mow people down. About 24 people were arrested in Charlottesville in July when the KKK rally against the proposed removal of the Lee statue. Torch-wielding white nationalists also demonstrated against the decision back in May. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
An alarming new study finds that people suffering from stress-related disorders react poorly to being trapped in underwater elevators. A tired 398-month-old throws a tantrum, and a little clay thing is purchased at an arts festival. And now an eerily perfect recap of this week's news. The Catholic Church reversed its long-held stance against gay marriage this week after meeting Connecticut couple Tony and Craig. The vacationing pair dazzled the Pope and assorted clergy with their witty conversation and true loving affection for each other, leading Vatican officials to conclude that love is love and it's silly to put restrictions on it in this day and age. The Chinese people announced that they would be willing to forgive most of the United States' $1.16 trillion debt if Americans agreed to dress up in costumes and perform silly dances for them. Chinese officials encouraged U.S. citizens to wear sequined vests and prance around while slapping their big fat American tummies, promising that the more humiliating the performance, the more debt will be erased. In sports, NASCAR fans are deeply puzzled by a mysterious black family seen attending multiple races.
This is the Onion News Network.
right. Welcome here to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. I am your host, as always, Mr. Will Coley, broadcasting live from our secret Liberty bunker here nestled in the beautiful Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee, at least for now. And I am joined by my regular co-host, as always, Mr. Tom Gray. How you doing tonight, Tom?
You really want an answer to that, considering everything that's going on in my adopted hometown right now?
Well,
let me just say something. If you were one of the neo-Nazi crapheads who are hanging out in Charlottesville, Virginia right now, in the words of Thomas Jefferson, get off our lawn, or else.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not in the mood. I am not in the mood. I'm hoping we do not have any guests tonight who think there are any hot takes to. Well, I know we have guests. Michael, sir, we'll be introducing you in a moment. If you have any hot takes on the situation in Charlottesville, you will want to keep them far, far away from me this evening, unless you like to hear creative strings of swears strung together because I don't own an AR-15 and don't have enough gas to get up there right now. Because that's pretty much that is where I am with what's going on in Charlottesville. Somebody needs to get their heads cracked, and it's a bunch of dickheads with citronella candles wandering around in my city.
All right, and also tonight, becoming kind of a regular fixture around here, we have Miss Aria DeMezzo from anarchistshemale.com. How are you tonight, Aria?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. The fundraiser that we've got for our move to open the Malik Center in Keene is a little over $1,000 now. We've also got a $3,000 deposit that we were waiting on. I got an email the other day. And then there is another $1,000 that's supposed to be coming from a donor who, rather than giving their money to Darul Salam, which was their original intent, and Darul Salam being the big conglomerate in Saudi Arabia, instead of giving their money to Darul Salam, she's going to give that money to us. So that's another $1,000 that we're waiting for.
Suck on that, Saudis.
Hey, are we broadcasting in Riyadh again tonight?
No, although now I wish we were. For those of you who might have picked us up last week while we were invading the Saudi internet, might I just say to you, either A, good evening to you, folks in Saudi Arabia, or B, if you happen to be with the Saudi government, suck it. We took your money.
Right? Yeah, we totally took your money. I love that we took their money.
We're taking your money. We're taking your money. That's what.
But yeah, they're going to use that money to sponsor the Malik Center. And then we have a doctor here in the community who has like a network of physicians all across the country that he's friends with. And he is trying to help us raise the rest of the money through that network. So hopefully in the next few weeks we may be, we're already starting to pack boxes. So we're working our way toward that. Now, we also have on tonight with us Mr. Michael Heiss, longtime freedom activist and an organizer of the In the Fed block party, which I will be speaking at on September the 9th in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And thanks for coming on with us tonight, Mike. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be on with the Eminem of the Muslim world.
Oh, all right.
Unfortunately, he does tend to lose himself in the music the moment he owns it when the funk stuff comes on at the break, and it's pretty tragic. It's honestly, it's a crime against sound.
It is because I can't sing, but I can't help but like. When you guys hear that bumper music that comes in that's jamming, all those songs, like I know all the words to all those songs. So I'm like singing along with the mic muted, just dancing, getting down over here, and these poor guys, like they can hear me while I'm doing this while you can't. So you guys are protected.
Oh, but we can't hear like the actual music.
No, all they hear is me singing along with it.
All we hear is Will. Like y'all get Smokey Robinson and we get Will.
Me. Oh, all right. So Mike, tell us about this event that you've got coming up.
Well, I'm pretty excited about it. It's going really well. What we're doing is we got a permit, and we are shutting down the entire block in front of the entrance of the Federal Reserve Building in Philadelphia, which is right across the street from the First Amendment Center, which is a huge tourist location in the city. So we're hoping to get a lot of people, a lot of randoms to cross the street with just the pure spectacle of the event, because we're going to be having a truck with a stage with speakers, including yourself, Larry Sharp, Bill Labonte from All That Remains, Adam Kokesh, Dr. Murray Sabrin. He's a professor of finance affiliated with the Mises Institute over at Recampo College in New Jersey. And there's also going to be live music and a very, very wide array of different vendors for different causes, as well as people selling things as well. So, like I said, I'm hoping the pure just spectacle of the event will draw randoms over, but we're also using the event to call all of the registered libertarians in the Philly area, invite them to the event, and in the county surrounding Philly, to invite them to the event, but also to let them know about the county level party and get them involved locally. So there's a lot of different reasons for doing it, a lot of different motivations.
What avenues are you guys using to promote this event?
Well, I mean, it's going through all the student groups. So Young Americans for Liberty, Students for Liberty, all the people with the table should be promoting as well. So it's looking like we're going to have a Mises Institute table, a Cato Institute table. I don't know if you ever heard of MAPS, but they are the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies. They're the nonprofit that's kind of funding all the resurgence of the studies into psychedelics that's happening at different universities like Johns Hopkins. They may have a table there. So I'm kind of using the diversity of the tables to help promote, but we got a paid Facebook campaign. We're doing all of these calls. I mean, it's like 8,000 calls between all of the registered libertarians that we're doing, getting the party itself involved, and also just kind of forming a strong relationship with the cryptocurrency community, because we feel it's a legitimate solution, one of a few legitimate solutions to the whole point of it and the Fed. Right on. So you guys probably gonna have like silver dealers there, or have you guys? I'm having trouble finding one, to be honest with you. I mean, there's it's kind of silver's been languishing for a while now, under $20. And talk to Daryl Perry. He might be able to get you hooked up with I think it's called Rollins and Rollins. They're usually sponsors for like the Porcupine Festival and stuff like that, and they get involved in a lot of other events, and they're silver dealers. And cool. They definitely might be a good source for that for you. So, I've been reaching out. It seems to have been a dwindling community, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, I like metals, and I also think that they are a solution, but because of the artificially low price. Yeah. Well, the lagging price. I didn't usually at Porkfest I would set up as a silver dealer as well, but with the lagging prices, like we didn't even set up for that. Yeah, I mean, I still think silver is a great investment, but I've been new to actually getting into the crypto community, and I'm already seeing results, so I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to move off my silver if I can't sell it for at least $20 an ounce. If I can't turn at least $20 an ounce out of my silver, then I'm not going to sell it. Like most of it I bought around 12 or 13. But if I can't make it an appreciated investment, off my investment, then I'll keep it. You know what I mean? and I've got a big blue velvet bag that I keep it all in. And it's good right where it's at. And that's part
where
of
is that, Will? Could you be
that's
part of your home? What sort of security?
Hey, if you can make it up the hill, then you're free to try to make it in the house. All right, guys, we'll be back in just a few here on the Call to Freedom on LR. Yeah.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. Most of you know me as a talk show host, but I'm also an author, actor, single father of 4, a fitness writer, avid snowboarder, and I'm also a medical marijuana patient. Like many of the million people who are living with multiple sclerosis, I'm in pain every single day. And sometimes my nerves are so raw that if you brushed up against me in an elevator, I'd scream. I can't sleep at night from the pain, and sometimes the spasms in my legs are so intense they will wake me up throughout the night. I've tried the strongest prescription medications available, and I'm gonna tell you, they do not work. In fact, they leave me in a stupor, and most of the time, it's impossible to even live your life. Now, I've tried medical marijuana, and I'm gonna tell you something, it works. If you'd like more information about medical marijuana, you can contact the Marijuana Policy Project at mpp.org or call 1-877-JOIN-MPP.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
All right, and welcome back here to the Call to Freedom on LRN.FM. I am your host, as always, Will Coley, and I am joined tonight by quite a cast. We've got with us Mr. Tom Gray, my normal co-host, and Aria DeMezzo with anarchistshemale.com, and we've got Michael Heiss with us with the In the Fed Block Party in Philadelphia on September the 9th. Now, tickets. How much are tickets?
Nothing. It's free to the public. It's open to the public. That's half the point of the event, is to try to rally the base of libertarians and get libertarians who are, maybe registered with the party but not necessarily active. Try and get as many people out to form a base and kind of outreach to the public.
Awesome. See, so there you go, guys. All right, so out there we've got a free event. going on in Philadelphia. Now, can you tell me a little, like, what's the purpose of the event? What is besides in the Fed? Like, you've got a pretty large amount of speakers. What's kind of the focus and the theme of your event going to be?
Well, in Philly, we have kind of a history or a culture of these events. It's been a few years, but at one point we were pretty regularly having stuff like this. We would park an army truck out front and have speakers. We've had Larkin Rose out there, all kinds of people. But, you know, in the wake of the whole Ron Paul thing, over time, it just kind of died down. So one of the motivations is to, you know, just start it back up, try to get people energized to get excited again, because there's so much division, you know what I mean? But that's one of the goals, a personal little goal of mine, just, you know, that people who are involved in the community would be able to see, is just try to bridge this gap that's happening between what we'll call the Cato brand of libertarians and the Mises brand of libertarians. Because I came in through the Ron Paul campaign, so I'm definitely more of the Mises brand, but it's been getting worse lately. You know, you're starting to see some of these Cato types and maybe left-leaning libertarians start to associate the Mises Institute with the alt-right, and I think that's extremely disingenuous and not unlike the left's tactics that have been happening for a while, just taking words and rendering them meaningless through broad interpretation. So I don't want to see that happening. So I want to try to start bridging the gap between the two of them, because you know, both are tools for our goals.
Awesome. So free event, great purpose, great meaning. Now I don't see. I see this whole thing of like Mises versus, like, I see that as a completely convoluted. You know, there are a couple people at Cato that are more liberal than the rest of the people at Cato, and there are a couple people at Mises that are, excuse me, more right wing than the rest of the people at Mises. And for some strange reason, it's beginning to seem like no one wants to acknowledge if you side with one group or the other, you only want to acknowledge the most extreme, farthest reaching fringe member of either group.
Or language is used to extrapolate things that weren't there. Like calling that, I'm sorry, even if you don't like the speech, calling that Jeff Dice speech a Nazi speech is just disingenuous. That's just not true.
So besides the unity and the hole in the Fed, what do you forecast? I mean, like, how many people are you looking to show up? Are you expecting a pretty good turnout? What's the response so far?
I'm hoping for somewhere between at least 300 to 500 people. I mean, me personally, if there's less than 400 people, I'm going to be disappointed, just because I know all the circles that this is getting around to. I know how much work is being done, not just by me, but a team of really good volunteers in the Philly area, making all these calls and everything. But as far as what to get out of it, you know, there's a heavy focus on solutions. You know, some people might see Bitcoin as a solution to undermine the dollar. Some people might see the expansion of the party, the Libertarian Party, as a solution, and getting some libertarians elected. That's why we have our Senate candidate and our congressional candidate, Steve Sheets and Dale Kearns. I mean, that's a big part of it, the solutions base. And then, of course, we have Dr. Murray Sabrin to kind of give the information, because there's a lot of people who, they might know that the Federal Reserve exists, and they might know it's a central bank, but they don't know the intricacies of why we take issue with it or why it's a problem. They just kind of accept it as something that is and has always been there.
Yeah. One of the things that I've always thought was really fascinating is that the movements, the sound money movements in the Muslim world, are a lot more aggressive than we are here in the States, even though the state's response is likely, you know, like, I'd much rather go to prison in the U.S. than go to prison in Malaysia. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But, you know, if you use silver as currency in the U.S., you'll get 10 years in prison, you'll do 4, and you'll end up on parole like Von Nothaus. But if you do it in Malaysia, then you go to Malaysia. They take your business and you go to Malaysian jail. And again, I would much rather spend 3 years in an American prison than 6 months in a Malaysian one. And when you see like people in Pakistan setting up their own bimetal bank that you can use a debit card, or the Murabitun movement, which is now in Spain, Afghanistan, Qatar. I mean, it's in most Muslim countries at this point, and quite a few European ones as well. And then you see how flaccid American activism is, particularly in this arena. Do you see in the future us being able to kind of reignite that and get things rolling again, moving forward, having like events like this in the Fed Block Party in Philadelphia on a more regular basis? Because I remember back in like 2009, 2012, that time, even 2013. These kind of things were happening all over the country on a pretty regular basis. I was speaking at some of them, and then all of a sudden it just stopped. And you trying to start it again, do you think that this is going to be able to lead to like inspiring other cities and trying to get that whole ball rolling again?
I think it's up to us libertarians. I mean, the Fed issue is something that the focus on it is something that is uniquely libertarian. You don't see too much lip service about the Federal Reserve from either the left or the right. So if it's something that's going to define us, I think it's something that we're going to have to embrace. Unfortunately, it seems to me that as time has gone on, my personal belief is that the libertarian community was operating at pretty much peak capacity that I've ever seen it when the Ron Paul campaign was happening. And there's a lot of people who don't want to admit that, and a lot of people who don't want to admit that they were unified under that banner, or at least energized under that banner. And then it seems to me that in the wake of that is when a lot of this fracturing happened, where you've got the ANCAPs and the ANCOMs and the anarcho-syndicalists and mutualists and all of this stuff, and everybody kind of just started, talking about these little fractured groups. And now it just seems like that division has gotten so ingrained that a cynicism has started to take over, where nobody actually believes, it seems to me, anymore that, or has faith anymore that.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
There is no such thing as attention span, according to Jerry Seinfeld, who figures that people have an infinite attention span if you are entertaining them. Hey, he's kept us from channel surfing for several decades, and now he's making more millions as a Las Vegas headliner. With money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important, especially if you're looking for work. So choose every single word as though it was the last word the person you're speaking to will hear. Otherwise, it might be. Avoid redundancies such as added bonus, advance warning, end result, prior history or personal belongings. And avoid cliches like the plague. Just kidding. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The 3 most important things you can do for LRN.FM are: 1. Let your friends know you're listening to LRN.FM on your social networking profile. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.lrn.fm. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same great prices, and LRN gets a cut. Please do your online shopping at shop.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live.
Some people actually need laws to know what the hell to do.
I don't think that's true. No, I have to disagree with you. There's only one law that people need to know, and that is do no harm. As long as you aren't hurting other people or stealing their stuff or damaging their property, then you are being law-abiding, because that's the one great natural law as far as I'm concerned. That's what, in fact, when they say, well, you know how they love to say this in court, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, that phrase came about when that was the law, when that was pretty much the only concept you had to get, was that you don't hurt other people. Get it? Ignorance of that law, there's no excuse to ignore that law. That makes sense. But to say that ignorance of all these tomes and tomes and tomes of legislation that we have out there, that there's no excuse for that, of course there's an excuse.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Who's taking a leak?
That would be my French press. And that's not a metaphor. Well, I mean, is it?
Will.
What?
You think we can make this my last segment?
Oh, I was going to cut you loose now. So, thanks for coming on.
I'll finish my thought.
Then. Go ahead. Go ahead. We're back. We're back. We're back. That's why I had to make a joke about Tom's French press.
Gotcha. Okay, so I can't hear anything. So anyway, so what I was saying was I feel that after the Ron Paul campaign, people became very fractured, and that's when you started to see all these different groups, from ANCAPs to mutualists to syndicalists to anarcho-communists, all that. And they all kind of did their thing, and that's when the fighting started and intensified. Now I think we're seeing a crescendo of that division, and it seems to me that a cynicism has kind of washed over a lot of the libertarian community, to the point where there's so many libertarians or former activists that don't really believe anymore that we can make positive change, or that we can do anything, or that we're trapped. I don't necessarily believe that's the case. So I would say, I'm trying to energize people, but I with this event, but it can't be just me. Other people have got to take the ball and run with it and embrace the message, because like I said, it's a uniquely libertarian message of end the Fed. That's one of our core issues and always has been.
Right on. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on tonight, and thanks for coming on to promote the event. I will see you, inshallah, in a few weeks. The hope is that what we will do is we will bring our trailer with us, and we will come to the event, and we will leave the next morning, and we will go on to New Hampshire instead of driving back down here and then bringing the trailer up. We'll just do the whole thing in one swoop. And so your trip will be your event will be our stop on the way through to move to New Hampshire and open up the new Malik Center. So
and if this event goes how I think it's going to go, there's already people calling for making it an annual thing. So if it goes well, it'll be a lot easier the second time around.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope to see you in a few weeks then.
All right, thanks. I'll see you there, man. Thanks for having me on.
Take care. Thanks for coming. All right, guys. So we do have another guest that's coming on, but they're not coming on until about 11. So I figured, this would be a good time for us to, I don't know. What do you want to do, Tom?
I think. I've already told you what I want to do. I want to drive up to Charlottesville and bust some heads. I'm kind of glad that we had Michael on because it was a nice kumbaya moment in the midst of a period where there are a bunch of dick bags in Charlottesville screaming "Unite the Right," except they want to unite the right, not around something like ending the Fed or reducing the size of government, but around
fighting mosquitoes.
Yep, fighting mosquitoes.
They're afraid.
Oh, it was a great meme. I'm sorry. It was a great meme day today.
Well, yeah.
Yesterday was a great meme day. Today was a kind of a... Well, okay, now, all right, so I guess I'll just go ahead and cue up the music because I figured this is definitely the libertarian drama of the week is Charlottesville, or Charlottesburg, or whatever it is. Virginia, West Virginia.
You did not just... Oh... Like, how many buttons did you think you could push? And first of all, West Virginia?
I don't know.
Are you freaking...
I don't know. I have no idea where it is or what. Okay. I just know it's Charlottesville.
West Virginia is the tumor that Virginia had removed so that it would get married to a prettier husband. That's what West Virginia is to Virginia. And Charlottesburg... God. No, it's Charlottesville. Yeah. Charlottesville, Virginia. All right.
This has split libertarians. I mean, one.
Well, no, it is split assholes from non-assholes.
I've been arguing with them all day.
I'm sorry. There are a lot of you out there that are calling yourselves libertarians that are like, but Antifa, but Obama, racist, hood rats, thugs. And I'm like, shut your damn mouths. You sound like idiots. What's going on here is that a bunch of white supremacist, loser, asshole, Nazi Confederates who have lost war after war after war after war in the press and on the battlefield. We killed a whole lot of you freaking Confederates and Nazis, by the way, and we'll kill some more if we have to, you racist.
What have these people done, Tom?
What have people done? Somebody ran into a crowd and killed a woman.
One guy.
Are you kidding me?
And he's in jail.
Just one guy. He's in jail already. And did you miss weeks ago where using the power of the state, which I thought you had a problem with, Arya, a bunch of these KKK assholes.
You're talking about going and cracking people's skulls, and all these people have done is people protest.
They went and got their government permits, and so they got protection from the cops with their rubber bullets and their pepper spray, who sprayed down a bunch of innocent civilians who were just showing up to say, hey, not Nazis over here. That's what the cops did to support these douchebags.
They did their jobs, don't get me wrong, I'm not in any way supporting cops, but that's literally what they're supposed to do.
It's what they do. It's not what they're supposed to do, but it's what they do.
And they did the same. They did the same to support Black Lives Matter protests here in Memphis. I see people like to ignore that.
You don't live in Memphis. You don't live in Memphis.
And it's away from Memphis. I was there at the Black Lives Matter protest.
But you certainly don't live in Charlottesville, let me tell you that. Memphis is a completely different animal. Charlottesville's, racial history is something that we would have to devote an entire segment to. I don't know if we can. All I know is that I was trying to get into, at one point, there was a point where people who claimed that they loved small government and liberty could unite around something like, well, let's get rid of the Federal Reserve. Those were nice times. Now we're arguing about whether or not it's okay to beat the hell out of black people because of Antifa. It's a fake word made up by racists to justify racism. And I'm sick of hearing it out of libertarians' mouths because it's a bunch of crap. You made it up.
Antifa invented Antifa.
But they use it as a term to mean anti-fascist. Nazis use it as a term to mean black people. They use it as a term to mean black people. And in fact, one Nazi openly used it adjacent to my wall to refer to it. He said, "You, Tom, because you are against white people or people being run over in the midst of protests and murdered, you are aligned with Antifa and the communists.
Well, there's idiots everywhere. I mean, there's no doubt of that.
Well, but this,
and I'm not defending the white nationalists.
But this was a
Yeah, I
guy.
was about to say there's seriously no shortage of them in the alt-right movement, though.
Yeah, well, this wasn't the alt-right. This was a guy that I met through East Tennessee for Ron Paul and Tennesseans for Liberty. This was an officer in both of those groups.
Yeah, I know, and those people, a lot of those people ended up losing their minds after Ron Paul lost. They got caught up in their local Tea Parties. Those local Tea Parties after 2012 did nothing but push anti-immigrant and scaremonger propaganda nonstop, as they slowly disappeared into what's the word I'm looking for here? Irrelevance.
Not Nazism.
Well, they became, those groups slowly became irrelevant, and then it became like this online cesspool of people who had spent the last year of their life, 2 years, 5 years, being indoctrinated in these retarded social groups that they had gotten involved in because they were mad that a black guy got elected. And I know that was the case for a lot of them, whether they want to admit it or not. They were angry that a black guy with a foreign-sounding name that they thought was a different religion than them, you know, like 3 huge whammies all at the same time.
And no big bucks either.
Yeah,
just whammies.
And, yeah, exactly. And they weren't happy about it. So now the age of Trump is what we get from those 8 years of the pundits.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.